Hi, Poppy.
Poppy.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the...
It's movie night with Bill and Lel. With special guest Rob Loves Horror 93.
All right, I'll call you back. Okay, Ted, you sound loaded. What's up?
Who's Ted?
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I thought you were someone else.
That's okay, I am.
Who are you calling for? Nobody's here.
Where is everybody?
We're co-sponsoring the Acid Rain Mixer at Chi Gamma Alpha tonight.
Why aren't you there?
I'm sober, sister. I need to be here in case a drunk sister calls and needs a ride.
That's too bad.
Drink with your brain. That's our motto. Who are you calling for?
What if I said you?
What if I said goodbye?
Why would you want to do that?
Why do you always answer a question with a question?
I'm inquisitive.
Yeah, and I'm impatient. Look, do you want to leave a message for someone?
Do you want to die tonight, Cece?
All right, we ready?
I'm here. You're queer. Let's get at it. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 7. This movie right here, it had me scream. Hey, did it have you guys scream too?
Definitely.
We're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about Scream 2 today. We have our special guest Rob back again.
Extra special, Billy.
He rides the short bus, ladies and gentlemen. That's how special he. Billy, cut that.
No, Billy, you're not allowed to cut that. You want to troll us? You get to troll yourself for once.
Right. So, Rob, tell us why you picked Scream 2.
Well, you know what? It's an amazing sequel. It's an all around. It's like, you know, the body count is bigger. The blood and the gore and the effects are always better. Like the sequels in horror films, sometimes it's not always a hit, but like Scream 2 is a definite like goated film.
Completely, it's underrated, and everybody, I believe Lilith has a synopsis for us.
Oh yeah.
Do I now, Billy? Do I? Yes. So, well, our beautiful Sydney Prescott is now in college. And for a while, it's going great. It's going wonderful. She's got some caller ID. She's doing good. She's got a roommate. They got Freddie's sweater in their closet dorm. Don't know why, but it's there if you look for it. But we're doing good. We got caller ID, and then, of course, the killing start again. And who is it? Ghosty Face. We're doing Scream 2, baby. We're going to college.
Oh man, this is exciting. It's like I am a hardcore believer that Scream 2 is up there with some of the best Screams. And the thing is I for the longest time thought Rob was going to be a part of that bandwagon, but he dropped his Scream rankings, and I don't want to go into depth because we're just going to focus on Scream 2, but I'm going to be the big hitter for this movie because gosh, I love this film.
But I didn't rank Scream 2 that low on my ranking. It was above Scream 3 and 4.
It was.
Okay, it's like right dab in the middle. Fair enough.
No, see, Billy's got to be better because I have a feeling this is your favorite one, isn't it, Billy?
It's not my favorite one at all. In fact, it's my third favorite.
Okay.
But the main reason why I'm going to bat for it is because this is probably the most aggressive Ghostface and one of the more gory Screams that we got. Mm-hmm. And the whole time the Scream 6 adverts were coming out, like Ghostface that you never believe. I'm like, Mickey was a freaking psychopath. Like the way he did Cece, and we'll get there in a second, it's just, you're going to hear some comparisons. I'm not going to talk about Scream 6 at all.
I have a question about that scene, but we'll go into it once we get there.
Oh, I have a few notes about that because some of that scene like had me dying laughing like it's from Scary Movie or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
So I used to work at a movie theater growing up. It was my first job. And some days we had some big events where people dressed up, and every time we did that, I just can't help but think of Scream 2.
You know what? I gotta say the same exact thing because, I remember when Scream 2 premiered in the theater. I was too young to go see it, but I remember like driving past the movie theater with my father, and there was all of these people dressed up as Ghostface, and I was like, "This is like that was insane to me." And I was like, "What movie is this that they're doing?" And my father didn't know what Scream was at the time. He was just like, "I don't know. Looks like a bunch of weirdos to me."
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yep. Yeah, I was a little itty bitty one myself, so I didn't get to see it in the theater. But I saw it as soon as it came on VHS. I'll tell you that much, because Scream was my third horror movie I ever watched. So Scream, like even this one, like the first one, this one, every time I watch it, it just makes me reminisce to when I was a little kid, like acting out all the scenes and how my parents didn't know I was gay. I acted out Jada Pinkett Smith. I acted out Nev Campbell. I acted out all the girls, and I never acted out the guys. Maybe I Think I Love You maybe once or twice. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I love these films so much, and I'm so excited you're back with us, Rob.
I'm so excited to be here.
And I'm
This is
so
like-
excited that today's Lilith's birthday. Are we
Oh,
not going to
yes.
talk
Oh
about
my
that?
God. Look,
Oh,
I forgot my
it is.
party hat. Look.
Party hats? We're doing party hats. Okay, we'll do party hats.
So
We
you
got
guys
party hats.
set me up. You guys over here acting
No.
all LGBTQ, and then look at me, the straight guy, and you guys are wearing Scream. You even have a cross on you. I'm here wearing my crop top 69 shirt. Let's get Billy on this joke today. That's fine.
Oh,
I'll wear it.
Hey, Billy, you brought up pride stuff, and this is what I had immediately available.
You're talking to the dude who's wearing a tiny sombrero, and Cinco de Mayo was when? Like a month ago?
Every day's a Margarita Cinco de Mayo day for me. Like,
I feel cheers
Okay.
to that, and cheers
Definitely.
to Miss Lilith's birthday.
Yes, thank you.
Lavate
Thank you
las
guys
manos.
Spending it with me. It makes it awesome. I haven't been excited for a birthday this much in years. Like the fact that you guys are here, it's just
It's so exciting. Like,
Mhm.
that's so, like, just to turn any year older, but, like, especially when you turn, like, 20, 30, 40. Like, I remember when I just turned 30, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize I turned 30 until, like, a couple of days later, and I was like, wow, like, that's crazy how that time goes by so fast.
Yeah. It does. It does. And especially after the event you guys know I had this past year. Whew, am I glad to be here? I'm so,
Well-
and it's great because I get to talk horror with people finally. I'm so happy.
Well, so should we talk about the opening scene, because it is
obviously.
Yeah.
What else are we
It
going to
is.
talk about? Lilith's birthday? Screw that. I want to talk. Just
Yeah.
it's significantly
It's not like I'm 21 or anything. God, Billy. Turning
It-
21 today. Fine.
I mean, it's significantly more elaborate than the first opening scene. Like, I mean, especially since you have 2 kills instead of just 1.
Yes. And can I say that the kill in the stall is like iconic to me? I don't know why it's iconic to me, but it just, that moment when he gets it in the ear, just like when I was younger watching this film, it got me so bad. Skipping ahead a little bit, but that kill got me so
I don't
bad.
like comparing Scary Movie to this, but I saw Scary Movie before I seen this.
Oh, God.
So every time I think it's a wiener, and I'm like, that's pretty funny.
I will never be able to scrub that image of Scary Movie 2 out of my mind.
I know it ruined it at the end of the day because I see the same thing
I
too.
really-
I can't say I don't.
I really like the Michael Myers approach, though, after that. Like, you know how Michael Myers killed what's-her-name's boyfriend, and then he came in with the glasses and the ghost sheet and all that? This
Yeah.
Leatherface comes in with a not Leatherface, this Leatherface, this Ghostface comes...
Franchise, Billy!
I know. Well, I'm getting to it. He's coming in a leather jacket. He kind of looks badass.
Yo, yeah.
And the thing is I would like to see like more variants of costumes.
Yeah.
But the costumes we have now are iconic, so I wouldn't change a single thing. But that leather suit or leather jacket makes him look cool.
Yeah, and I gotta say the costume design in this movie was on point. Like the leather jackets everybody wears, it like we'll get into that later, but like
the 90s feel is just so real.
Yes.
And
it makes me miss the 90s.
Felt 90s. And I don't know what boat you guys are on when it comes to sitcoms, but I love Friends.
Oh, me too.
And rewatching it this time around, there was a lot of Friends like inserts in this movie. So they filmed a lot of scenes, not only for the theater, but you see it throughout the movie. And David Schwimmer is name dropped as Dewey's. And I'm like, man, that's pretty funny because like this is 1996. Friends has been on for a while, so they're connecting the bridge of Courtney Cox to Scream. David Schwimmer with
Courtney Cox even mentions Jennifer Aniston in the film. Yeah,
it's just my face on Aniston's body.
Yep. But it really does touch on the fact that I think another reason why these films are so successful with people like us that are really film buffs, not even just horror buffs, is because it shows us and references us and like gives us a hint at that world. Like she's going there for drama, we're seeing an acting school, it hints to like different little things here or there, different movies. There's so many homages in the Scream films, especially the original trilogy, and it's so much to pick up on and so much like love was put in it for us to catch.
Well, sometimes meta-ness feels like a kick in the dick, or like it feels like an easy jab, and with Scream it just feels like a love note, and I don't know why. Like, why do I feel different with this movie than I would like if other movies did it? So what I'm trying to say is I never seen a movie be so ballsy and say, you know what, we're going to take this tragedy and make it a movie, and this. So Stab and Scream are like the same thing. And the way they did it too, because Wes Craven has a little style and like you can tell what his movies are. Same thing with Robert Rodriguez, who directs the Stab franchise, and the film shots, the camera angles. It feels like one of his movies.
And I'm a big Robert Rodriguez fan, not to go too much into that, but he did an excellent job directing and if nobody knows, he's the one who directed the Stab movie scenes that are in Scream 2.
So
I
originally was considered for the first film, but they actually didn't want him, vice versa.
I don't think he actually filmed those scenes, though. I think Wes Craven, being a good friend of him, went and did shots as if it was him, and Robert got a kick out of it. I swear I saw that in an interview somewhere. I can't cite my source, but I thought that was funny as
possible. Because I picked up a goof, but go ahead, Rob.
I could have sworn that I was reading it, like I was reading facts while I was watching the film this morning, and I just watched it, like I just went and rewound like the last 40 minutes. I found two different articles that says that the Stab movie scenes were directed by Robert Rodriguez, but also I found another one that was like a kind of an older like fact that was out there, like an older article, and it says that they just name dropped him, and Robert loved it so much that he just like, he just thought it was like the utmost respectful thing that he got from Wes Craven,
So I'll say this, every year they put out a new movie, and I feel like we get less and less bonus features. So I think the 25th anniversary edition.
That. I hate that we're losing bonus features. I hate that we're losing physical media, but I'm not going to go on a rant about that. But I hate that because when my teenage years thrived on commentaries, they thrived on behind the scenes because this was the world I wanted to be in, you know? And I know both of you guys are probably the same as me with that. Like, we love the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, it's just now new cover art, and it bums me out because they did say that there's a lot more footage with the other cast, and I would love to see it.
Yeah.
It would be nice. I know they said they cut a whole scene of Billy and Sydney that was supposed to be in the stab version in the beginning. I don't know exactly how much was there, but they did take out some of that stab scene from the beginning of the film.
Oh shit! Oops.
I mean,
stop dropping stuff, Billy.
Well, no, it's
we got
like
guests.
It's not protected. The condom needs to go on. There we go.
We have a guest. You're supposed to have your condom ready, okay?
It has hair on.
Always use protection.
I get.
I just feel like that opening scene, like, while it is not as disturbing or as scary as the first film, it is so effective.
It is.
I beg to differ. I felt like it was more scary.
I mean, I can see that, but like a girl alone in the house, whether it's like, it's kind of more scary when you can't get everybody's attention around you that you're.
This is going to be like I said, worked at a movie theater with the Dark Knight premiere happening and with tons of other movie theater stuff happening. I love going to the movies, but even to this day, right before the movies, I like to get there 15 minutes early, watch the fun facts things. But I'm over here thinking, oh my God, what if this happens today? I'm looking at the exits. I'm like, can I jump off that side right there? Could I survive? Like, what am I going to do? Like, what? Like, in the moment, I want to protect my wife, but I'm a dick, so maybe I use her as a shield. I don't know. So I get paranoid. I get paranoid at movie theaters. I don't get paranoid home alone. So seeing the gruesomeness that happens to Jada Pinkett Smith and like she was targeted, and the whole thing was a big spectacle. Everybody was acting out. I don't really see movies do that much anymore after the big stuff. And the closest thing is Rocky Horror. So when they get up and do the dances or do the things or like act out with a scene, I would be a part of the crowd and I'd be thinking maybe she's acting with the movie. Like, oh man, like I'd be the guy that's like, this is kind of annoying. Why I'm trying to watch the movie, and then like I realize, oh no, this is real. And then I go to can I jump off this balcony and be okay?
I mean, you know,
there's no exits up here. What is gonna happen to me?
I do love that opening scene, though. I will not say that it is in the same level to me as the original, because like that original scene, like, I mean, Drew Barrymore's on my shirt. She's iconic. That original Scream scene is really like, I feel like it's the original Scream's a resurgence of the slasher. We all know and love this. But the opening to this one, for having such an iconic one in the original, I think it did a really good job. Not to mention the Stabo-vision that they did in the theater once they get in the theater. You know, I'm like, I would love to be in a horror movie with Stabo-vision, you know? That would be so cool.
I love the Stabo-vision, and I especially love the people that are like running around the lobby of the theater in the ghost face. Like, yeah, I'm gonna stab you, man. They just think it's a joke. Like, they didn't even know that it's a real life story, most of these people.
Yeah. I mean, have you, a question to both of you, have you ever been in a theater like that? Because I have one circumstance where I have. I'll let you guys go first.
3 times. Avengers, when that first came out, the theaters. Star Wars The Force Awakens, that was a huge one. And
makes sense.
So I count this as a third one, but I would say I've been to 6 or 7 of these. Rocky Horror Nights at the local small theaters.
That makes sense.
I mean, I've been in a theater like that, but it's never been like that. The only thing I think of as that packed is when I saw not Doctor Strange, Infinity War.
Okay.
Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
All the
Yeah,
Avengers were like crazy opening night.
Yeah, The Dark Knight was nuts too. I had to wait like a couple of weeks till that was out of the theater because the whole thing that went on with that. But let's not go off on a tangent.
No, like,
yeah. Oh boy,
So,
that was
here's a
the movie that
question.
changed it all for real.
would this movie have this opening scene if it was made in like this era, like 2020s and up? Do you think a
It'd be
movie theater
pushing it.
scene would work?
It'd be pushing it. It'd be really pushing it.
I think I'm gonna have to agree. I think it would be pushing it because a lot of people are like sensitive to that now, and
Yes.
especially with the stuff that goes on in the schools and like
Mhm.
all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's a very sensitive subject. I think it's very sensitive to the fact that even like people don't like to see dogs or like animals or children hurt in horror films.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the opposite. Not real,
Ye-
like real. If it's
No.
absolutely real.
I get when you say that, Billy, because I like when films push when where other films won't either.
So,
So I get that. You're
Evil
not
Dead
saying that you
Rise-
like those things. It's just the fact
like
that
I
you
said,
like
I
that.
hate going off in tangents, but like when that kid got shoved in the hallway and you're like, he's only 7. They did that to a 7-year-old. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
they don't do these in movies. That's where I'm like
Mhm.
freaking out. I'm like, oh wow, that means
I
that
love
little
that
girl
stuff.
that like that's where I was like, she's not safe anymore. I like usually there's a protective bubble around children, but as soon as that happened, I'm
Yep.
like, oh crap, Shane's loose. Let's get it. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
I mean that's like we have an epic opening opening scene with Scream 2, but like the next kill is like was the one that hurt me even more than Drew Barrymore,
Okay.
which was Sarah Michelle Gellar's kill.
Oh.
That's jumping a lot ahead. Did we want to cover?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was
Oh,
about to-
Billy yells at me all the time. No, Billy yells at me all the time. At least it's not just me, Rob.
Well, there's a lot of things I'd like to touch base. This is new Randy, new him. He kind of has
Oh,
this
yeah.
swagger going on. Like, I
Yeah.
swear, he's
Oh.
wearing Charlie Sheen shirts before Charlie Sheen shirts were a thing.
Right. That's right, because from the opening scene we fade into the film class that they're all sitting in on.
You know,
Yes. After we touch on the dorm room real quick, which is,
Yes.
has the Freddy shirt in the closet. If you've never noticed that.
And for
My
me,
bad,
this
my
was not Quentin Tarantino dialogue. This was kind of rough for me as like a film buff, especially when they
Okay.
start quoting dialogue wrong twice.
Mhm.
They don't like they know the movies. They start saying which sequels were better, but Randy like missed a quote. I think it was the Aliens one, and it's just rough.
Right. Right. I mean, go
What
ahead.
is the actual quote from Aliens? Is it "Get away from her, you bitch"? "Stay away from her, you bitch"?
I'm pulling it up right now. I had it pulled up like an hour ago, but
Billy's fact checking himself because he doesn't want to look like an ass.
I mean, and you know that scene where they're sitting in on the film class is one of my favorite scenes because it's almost obvious who Ghostface is.
Rewatching it, it got like I like over analyzing it like I do for these episodes. Like there's so much stuff that I didn't pick up on until I rewatch it for these episodes. Like Mickey especially. Oh, Mickey, you're so fun. You're so fun, Mickey. Yeah. Oh my God, I love me some Mickey. He is a big red herring throughout for reasons. He pushes like the narrative of other people throughout this whole film just to kind of put the tracks off of himself almost. But
without playing the clip, Billy, edit the clip here. It says Randy corrects. It says "Stay away from her, you bitch," when it's actually "Get away from her, you bitch."
okay.
So
Okay.
Well, maybe they couldn't. Maybe they couldn't use the exact line for like licensing purposes
fair
or
enough,
something
but
like
then
that.
why was
That's
Randy being a
possible.
dick to correct somebody when he was wrong?
Because he is one.
It's Randy. I mean, why does Randy have a random accent when he's talking to Sydney? Because that's Jamie Kennedy. You know, that's just who Jamie Kennedy is.
So I love Jamie Kennedy to death, but like a lot of his scenes in this movie like is over charismatic, and I don't know if it's the chip on the shoulder of him, but a lot of his scenes I could nitpick to death, and I'm trying not to. So when we get to the Baskin Robbins scene, I'm gonna probably be quiet.
Do not come for my boy Randy. Rob, step in.
Oh,
step in, Rob.
I love Randy and Jamie Kennedy.
I love Randy.
I got to meet him. Nicest guy alive. I love his YouTube scene.
See, this mofo over here meets everybody, and I'm like over here like, oh, I live in this small town of nothingness.
Well, here, would you rather live here in Florida where you can take a shower, where you can take a shower on Monday and by Friday you're still not dry?
Girl, I'm not even allowed to go to a public bathroom in Florida, so yeah, no.
Let's not even get into that. That's a whole conversation we could have.
Yes. Positive vibes, peace and love and bubbles.
So we talked about the film scene.
Okay.
The roommate set up with Sydney. What was her name? You guys have it?
Allie.
Hallie.
Allie. Allie. I believe.
No, it's Hallie.
No,
is it Hallie?
It's Hallie. It's with an H.
Hallie.
It's okay.
I can help you with the
Hallie
Allie situation, like from Step Brothers.
Please do that.
Oh my gosh.
Please insert a little Step Brothers meme, like right here, something.
Anyways, so I felt like she was a good setup for a potential killer, and I think when scripts leaked, she was one of them.
Okay.
So that quick change, I would like to see the thought process in the writing room when they're like, oh man, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to get ourselves out of this? And the corrective course on this was better than any other script changes I've seen in other like murder mysteries or horror mysteries from here on out. So that's another reason why I say this movie's underrated, because one, this came out within a year.
It was in a year after it was the original was released. This was in theaters.
I think he had 30 pages done by the end of Scream 1. So he had to write that script fast, get the original cast in. Everybody had to be in the groove again, and there wasn't really a big break. So the fact the script leaked and then they had to cuff it and try to make it work, I thought this movie was beautiful for it, especially with the end scenes and how everything turned around. And we'll get to that in a second. But Hallie would have been a good killer. I would have said that from get-go.
And he yelled at me for jumping ahead.
I know.
Right?
Well, I'm an ass. I'm trying to introduce...
I got my Japanese fam right here, Billy.
I'm trying to introduce some of the characters, and Hallie was the only character that I don't think she got enough screen time. I
agree. She was a really good character that did not get a lot of screen time. I liked her a lot. I also have a soft spot for Vanessa Gayheart. She was one of the popular girls that she was at the frat that she was pledging to. She was the one with the brown hair. That's Vanessa Gayheart. She's been in a couple horror goodies. She was in Urban Legend. She was in another one that I don't remember off the top of my head, but she's been in a couple horror goodies, and I really like seeing her in this, even though she's not my favorite character in the film, because she is the two little sassy little queens that aren't your favorite throughout the film, because I mean, I'm all Sydney all the way. So if Sydney is not pledging, we are not pledging.
Sydney has a new boyfriend, kind of off.
Yes.
Mr. Jerry O'Connell.
I thought he was great in the part he was playing.
Oh my god, yes. I love his Scream too.
Well, he was like Mr. Sensitivity. Everything Billy tried to be, this guy was it naturally.
He's it's almost like night and day. He's literally the exact opposite of Billy, and they make you believe that it's him for a second.
The vibe, the way that he was treating Sydney and all that, and the thing
I was going to ask you guys, did you buy into that red herring, either of you, as him being as the killer?
No.
Ever?
Nope.
Because I didn't either. Like, I feel like Wes Craven's extremely good with red herrings, and but I think like maybe it's because due to some of the script changes that there were, but at the end of the day, like I think they played it fairly well as him as a red herring.
I think so. I just I didn't buy it.
Same. Though I will say there's only one out of the franchise where I guess the killer, and this is not it.
I would say 2, I guessed correctly. And that's because I was definitely wrong on the third. I thought there was more than one. This one I was right with Mickey, but I thought the cameraman that Gail brought along was also a killer.
I think nobody ever agrees with me on that. I so thought it was Joel too.
That would be a good one.
Well, he conveniently leaves
because he walks away
all the time.
I never even thought of that.
Twice. But the thing is, he's like, "You bitches are crazy," and then he walks away, comes back with Dunkin' Donuts, and he's like,
"He's like, did you get that on film?" He's like, "Yes, I got."
He's like,
I was like, I'm dead.
My favorite line is like, "What the fuck happened to my truck?"
Yeah.
What happened to my window? Who the fuck broke my window?
Yep.
But you know what? He does the whole like, you white people are crazy as hell. Why are you plotting things so good?
Yes. I love it. I love it.
Finally, let's round out the group of friends with Mickey. Perfect casting.
Mickey, or so I can't sing the whole song because it's copyrighted.
Perfect casting, and that's all I have to say for that.
Hey, I have a appreciation video up on my TikTok for this man. I adore this man. He was my first man crush other than Billy, but I didn't even go as hard for Billy as I did for Mickey. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
So we got through that scene. We're introducing, like Gail comes to the scene because of the theater and all that.
Oh my God! Can we talk about how gorgeous Gail is in this film with the red streaks and like the bob cut and just like how gorgeous she looks in this?
I mean, if we're comparing looks, she looks like an old librarian in the first one, and then
I was about to say in this one, I got this, Billy, just because I know I was going to come for you at some point of this video. It's a mirror, folks. It's just a prop.
Is that the knife they used to chop Courtney Cox's bangs in the third one? Because that was an axe job.
Oh my God! She tweeted back a response to one of those. Okay. She was not having it when they came for her bangs in 3. But anywhoozles.
That's where I'm going to stop with Courtney Cox's looks because
a lot of people don't like her. Do you like her, Rob? Like as an actress?
I love Courtney Cox. I fell in love with her on Friends, but like when I saw her in the first Scream film, first Scream film is where I was like, whoa.
Yes. And since we're close to that, we're basically at the scene where the killer calls at the campus like grounds where everybody's having lunch. That's basically where we're at right now, right, Billy? Keeping me on track.
I swear Cotton gets introduced before then.
Does he? Okay, there we go.
Real quick
okay, we can talk about Cotton.
Do you this is the biggest red herring that I think they kind of muffed up because Cotton would have been a good, could he be a killer if they didn't give him the terrible loud sound effect like da 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 da. I'm like, come on, really? Like now it's obviously he's not the killer because that would have been
his personality pushes it to begin with because Cotton has always been a cocky jerk, so it would be very convenient for him to be killer with the type of character he is. So, it is like a red herring, but it's like the least believable of the red herrings, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The motive is there, too. That's what I liked about it. Like, Sydney
the motive's definitely there.
Put him away. No doubt about it. So, him showing up on campus conveniently as all this is going down. But the main reason why I never guessed him was because they added the music. And
yes.
What was one of you told me that Dewey's music when he first got there? Or was
Dewey's score? Dewey's and Gail's score. I think this is the one where it's introduced.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God! From this film on, when they're together, they have that score. Oh my God!
Yeah, that little bum bum bum.
Yes.
So, when Dewey's alone and he's acting confident, he has a James Bond-esque type of score, like doo 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 doo. And I'm like you
that
know why?
Western-esque.
Do you know why they gave that to him? Because if you
Why is
take out
this?
the score and everything else he does, it's goofy as fuck. Like
He has a baby face, but he's so handsome, but he has a
with
baby
the little pencil
face.
stripe. I'm a man now, Gil.
Yeah, but he's the best.
But like when they were
That's why
taking
I
down
think
students
Dewey's
with
so
cell
lovable.
phones, when they were taking down students with cell phones, he was trying to like this is a arrest, but it's not
Yes.
believable at all. And it's like,
Well,
dude, the
like,
man's like half your like you're half his size. You're not gonna take
He's
him down.
still-
And then he's like talking to his mom or something on the phone. He's like, oh, "I'm sorry, bro." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" And that's when
Or
they
when
had.
he Or when he jumps from above and like
Yes.
Gale goes from the other side and he's like, "Can I help you?"
Yes, yes. But fun fact about that phone call, everybody goes on about how 6 is the first time Gale was ever called in the franchise. This is false. If you watch that film, if you watch 2, whose cell phone does the killer call? Gale. Jamie Kennedy's character takes it out of her hand and says, Gale can't talk right now. And he's the one that ultimately ends up dying in that scene because of it. So if Gale picked up that phone, she could have died.
This is peak Gale movie, by the way. I think this is the best Courtney Cox is in any of the Scream movies.
The love story between her and Dewey in this one is just so good. I love it.
Character growth. She starts as probably the antagonist of Sydney, and then by the end of it, mutual respect. At least there's not that big tight bond yet. But the thing is the way she answers people's phones during that scene too. I know I'm jumping ahead, but they're like, "Hey, are you the killer?" And they're like, "No, who's this?" And she's like, "Gail Weathers, the author of it." I'm like, "Oh my god, Gail, Jesus, can you just stop for a minute? Quit plugging yourself."
Well, tell Bob I'll call him back.
Yeah. I mean, Gale is a capital B, but we love her for it. Okay.
Yeah, we talked about all the cast though, like the supporting and all that.
Yes, I believe so.
There's 2 people
believe
we're
so.
kind of leaving out.
There's only one that. Yeah, I was about to say the female
But
reporter. She's not a huge name, but she has a fairly decent big name.
well,
Mickey's accomplice.
Well, she kind of comes in and out. I would have never expected her in my life.
Nope, me neither.
And see, the controversial opinion. I know a lot of people are going to come for me, but this is my favorite killers of the franchise. Why? Because I find it's the most believable of the franchise in a lot of aspects, because I can see a scorned mother doing this.
Well,
everything. Yeah, I can so see this.
It helps with lines of dialogue like Randy's, like that little mama's boy, Billy Loomis. Because I would have never got that from the original movie if they didn't add lines like that.
And it's so funny. I was watching that scene. He goes, Stu Macher was a pussy ass wet rag, and Billy Loomis, what the fuck? What a homo-repest mama's boy.
That's a good line. I have to get
I love it. I love every second. And not to mention the subtle hints of dropping of the writer being gay yet again. Cause the one cop, she hints at of being gay, and it's mentioned here and there. So I think another reason why the girls, gays, and theys always hopped on the train of Scream was because we were always involved in this. Even though if we weren't a character in the film, we were always respected in the community that was Scream.
I was blind for at least 20 years of my life for these movies. I never got it. I never seen it.
I mean, most people don't though, because it's like, if you're not in the community, it's kind of just a blip that goes by you. But when you're in the community, maybe Rob, you can touch on this. Like when you get representation, like even if it's a little bit, like even when you're a kid and you're just finding yourself, like you hearing something like that, it can be a life-changing thing almost. What do you think, Rob?
I'm gonna completely agree with that statement. I found some of my greatest, I guess I'll say greatest heroes from that, I guess, some of my favorite actors, and some of those moments are my favorite moments in cinema.
They are.
And some of those really helped me discover myself,
Same.
I'm
Same.
drawing a blank on certain moments, but we can touch on that in another episode.
Oh no, yeah, definitely though. I definitely wanted to bring that up because it's just like there's so many different levels, as I touched on earlier, on this film that we can love it for.
Unless if they're stereotypical, I would have never like Revenge of the Nerds, Lamar. I like unless if they're like that, I would have been like, oh no, everybody's straight. Like, but then again, I'm in Indiana. I grew up in a mostly like straight area. I think there was one trans kid, and it was rough for the LGBTQ scene then. Now, like within 7 or 8 years, Decatur has completely changed. So it was just the era, I guess, I grew up in.
Yeah, well, it was a little rough in the 90s still. Like, it was cool to have a gay best friend in the 90s, but we weren't, like, allowed legally to do anything still.
Graduated 2016, so...
Yes, yeah. I mean, hey.
Not
We've
that old,
come
guys.
far and we can't go backwards. But this is a first episode of Pride Month, so I gotta bring it up a little bit.
Happy Pride, folks.
Yes, happy Pride, guys, gals,
Now, I
non-binary
think we're finally at
pals.
the scene of Cece, right? So Cece, we haven't talked about her. She's kind of a big name.
Who is she, Rob? I know you love her as much
Go
as I
for it.
do.
Give her a big
So,
introduction.
So the lovely Cece Cooper, who is a sorority sister of the sorority Omega Beta Zeta, is played by the lovely and beautiful Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't be more happy that she was in this film. I'm just mad that she didn't last longer.
She's so quick in it. I hate that. And it's like, same with I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, why take her
She's
from me?
in so much promotional material, too, like in People magazine. And so
she was
much
huge
stuff.
at the time from Buffy. Buffy was still going. She was filming Buffy at the same time she was filming this.
Buffy
and
filming
Buffy
in
was huge.
1997?
Yes. Buffy was filming, Party of Five was filming, and Friends was filming. 3 of the actors were filming series at the same time this film was being shot.
Which is incredible.
Courtney Cox. It's incredible because they still their performances were flawless in my opinion. And Courtney Cox agreed to be in this film before she even saw the script because she based on the success of the first movie and the fans loving it so much.
And it's so funny because she even says now in like multiple interviews that she doesn't like to watch the Scream films because she doesn't like horror movies.
Yes. It's like it's the same thing with Jamie Lee Curtis. There's so many iconic people in horror movies that don't actually enjoy the horror genre.
And what's bittersweet is Freddie Prinze, I would say, is the opposite because doesn't he have a podcast now about...
Yes,
Rob just told me about this. Please tell people about this, Rob. I am so excited to start to listen to this.
So, Freddie, I discovered this my partner actually told me about this because his and mine our favorite Hollywood couple is Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar. So
it's so awesome that there's a horror couple that has lasted like that, you know.
Yes. So Freddie Prinze Jr. has a podcast where he talks about horror movies, and it's called That Was Pretty Scary.
I love it. I love that he embraces it. Even though he's a huge name, he embraces the horror that he's come from, and even though he's done like the romantic comedies, he still embraces his horror roots because he knows that's where the fans are. We love this stuff.
You know what's crazy? That's a great title. That's a better title. Do you know how long it took me to come up with Movie Night with Bill and Lil?
Hey, I don't because you pitched it to me, okay?
After I got the podcast going, got the sites made t-shirts, made this, made that, I'm like, that movie was a nightmare. Would have been a good podcast because we just talk nothing but horror.
Movie Night with Bill and Lil because Bill and Lil kind of rhymes. It works with each other.
And it's kind of the play on the whole Rugrats character.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yes.
I was thinking
oh God, my bestie is going to be so mad at you guys for saying that because she's like, he is not allowed to call you Lillian because that is my thing. Because my bestie's female, but she's Phil and I'm Lil. And I'm always like, damn it, Philip. And she's like, shut up, Lillian.
I think it's brilliant.
I love it.
I think it's brilliant. I think if I ever
Yes.
start my own podcast, it's going to be called Rob's Horror Hangout.
Yes, you need to start it, and Billy has already offered to help you, so he has to help you now.
Whatever you
Oh.
want.
Okay, we'll get that
So
figured out.
starting in June, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, starting June 30th, coming to a podcast near you.
All right,
Yeah.
we're 40 minutes in and we haven't got to a kill. I want some blood, guys.
Oh, okay.
Let's
So
talk about blood.
We're about to get some bloodshed. Okay,
Well,
so
so-
Cece, what happens to Cece, Rob?
So she receives, she's on the couch watching television, and she receives a call from, she's actually on the phone with one of her girlfriends discussing, like, I believe it's an episode of 90210. I'm not exactly sure. But then the other line beeps in, and it's, of course, our, lovely Ghostface, and, he starts to antagonize her. But she thinks it's her boyfriend, like, all drunk and loaded up and just screwing with her. But really,
Ted.
I'll be honest,
The
when
real-
she was walking around with that phone and she's like freaking out, and Bertha, I don't know her real name, comes out of nowhere, and it's like that jump scare moment. I jumped this last viewing of it, and she's like, "Oh God, what is your fat ass doing here, Bertha?" That's not what she really says. And
she was
she's
like, Donnie, Donnie, what are you doing? You scared me.
I live here.
Yep.
She's like, "Get the fuck out of here, you fat bitch." I'm just kidding.
Well, on this note of Billy trying to throw himself under the bus, yet again, fun fact of this scene, the other female voice you hear on the phone with her is
Linda
Selma Blair.
Oh, Selma
Yes.
Blair. Damn it.
Linda Blair! Girl!
She was in the last movie. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, Rob's like, what? If
Well, I
you
didn't know-
listen to it. Yeah.
I didn't know that she was the voice of like the girlfriend that she's on the phone with while she's watching television. But
Oh, I lost the necklace, folks. Well, there goes one of the necklaces. We ain't putting it back on because that thing takes forever. Sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
so that girl that jump scares her, like she comes
Yes.
in the room and jump scares her, that
Mhm.
role was originally supposed to be played by Denise Richards.
Oh, Billy
But-
would have been all over that.
But she had scheduling conflicts with Starship Troopers.
Damn it.
Okay.
I love
Okay.
that movie
I love-
too, so I'm not angry.
Oh, me too. I love me.
Oh,
some
that's a
Denise.
great one.
I love me
Um,
some Denise.
Though it would be kind of cool to have Nev Campbell and Denise Richards in 2 movies together, having said they've been in Wild Things, which is another epic one from the 90s.
That was my favorite movie when I was going through puberty.
Oh, bet it
You
was.
know why?
I bet it was. I mean, I can't say anything. They had it for the girls, gays, and theys in that one too. You see full frontal Kevin Bacon in that film. So,
Hello.
yes. Anywho, let's get back to Scream. We haven't even got to her death scene yet. Let's go back. Cece is on the phone with the killer, and what happens, Rob?
Yeah, so like the reason I can remember it like word for word now is because I've seen the movie so many times, but Lilith is actually a big fan of like my monologues that I do on TikTok.
You are the
Especially-
king of monologues on TikTok. Seriously, though.
especially the Scream ones, and it's almost like I don't know if I'll be able to do it word for word, but like that whole when she clicks back the phone so she hangs up on her friend and she clicks back to Ghostface, and they're like just having like a casual conversation. He's like, "Oh, where is everybody?" And she's like, "Oh, we're having a mixer tonight, and I'm sober sister in case one of the other sister needs a ride."
Mhm.
And she I forget exactly what she says, but like he gets to the point where he's antagonizing her, and he gets to the whole, "Do you want to die tonight, Cece?" And the whole demeanor of the call changes. She hangs up. She calls campus security, and the call is breaking up, and like all hell breaks loose after that.
Yep.
So when he finally gets in and chasing her and all that, that's so intense. Like a lot of people say Scream 6 is the most violent, the most eager killer out there. I think Mickey, especially with the way he handles Cece in a second, shows that he can do just as bad. But my favorite thing is when she's almost up the
No.
stairs, She throws a
Is
bicycle
it
at him.
Mickey?
It's Mickey for sure.
Is it Mickey?
The only
Because
the only time
It's
here,
Is it Mickey?
This is a conspiracy.
Go ahead.
Billy's
I'm
mom
sorry.
only
I
kills
just wanted to
once.
ask that because you see Mickey at the party at the same time the kill's going on, and then you see Mrs. Loomis after the kill, right at the scene. So I was like, this past viewing, I always assumed it was Mickey because she gets roughhoused, and I didn't really see Mrs. Loomis doing that as much. But
I don't see Mrs. Loomis one-handed throwing Cece off a balcony.
see, neither did I. I just thought with the way the placement was where Mickey was at the party and Mrs. Loomis was there like right after the killing, it made sense a little bit, though it would be a little bit hard to believe that she was
The
roughhousing
ending basically
like that.
explained why Mickey was even there, though.
Yes,
This
is true.
Mickey was the Stu Mocker of the two. Billy
Mm-hmm.
Loomis's mom is being Billy essentially, so she's probably
Yeah.
calling, listening in, trying to figure out like where she's at, and then Mickey, like you see him sneaking around and doing like crazy shit. So Mickey
he feels so vicious.
Oh, he's all in. He's all in, and he has no reason other than just wanting to be an infamous serial killer.
And Timothy I can't pronounce his last name properly.
Yes, I know. That's why I don't try.
I've heard O'Flans, I've heard O'Flyans, I've heard it a million ways. But Timothy O was the perfect cast for this.
Oh my god! Like, oh yes. I go ahead, Billy. Do you have some non sexual statements that I was about to say?
Yeah. Jesus. Anyways, but no, he gets her, throws her through the window, and then gets her, picks her up, throws her off the balcony. So
Gets her in the back a couple times first. Can you imagine?
so brutal.
Ugh.
So brutal. And people are like, man, we never seen a ghost face like this before. And I'm like, you guys didn't watch Scream 2, did you? Especially so. Let's talk about I'm jumping ahead. Let's go ahead and talk what happens next. Because they still act like school's going on the next day. Nobody died on campus. Everything's happy, joy, joy. You know what? Let's break out in song, everybody.
I mean, you're kind of skipping over the part where her boyfriend kind of gets set up for this whole thing when, because there's that part after the kill.
I'll give you that. Oh, I am skipping over one huge thing, and like I said, I don't try to nitpick anything, but this is a huge nitpick I have here. What was the point of Ghostface coming back in to chase Sydney down? Okay, what if he got her? What if he caught her? What was the point? Was he going to take
You're talking about after
Cece?
he gets her on the phone.
Like,
No.
after Cece
After
dies,
side-
and then
Ghost-
the whole Omega Beta Zeta or whatever the other fraternity, not Omega Beta Zeta, but the other fraternity rushes out of the party because they know there's a killing across the street. And then Sydney's left alone at the house. Her boyfriend goes and get the car or whatever he was doing, and then we're set with Sydney at the house
shut,
with the
she
killer.
can't open it. I like the knife scene where it goes through the door and he has wide eyes.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh. And
I like when the knife goes through the door because it kind of shows how sharp that knife is supposed to be. You know, like it'll cut you.
but my issue is why?
Yeah, go ahead, Billy. Sorry.
Why? Why is that a scene even necessary? Why was it there? And the main reason is if they caught her, what was going to happen? I don't think they would have killed her. They're remaking the movie. They are essentially doing what Scream 1 did. This is a love letter to her son, Billy Loomis. I just don't get it.
I mean, I think I'll let Rob go, but I think my perspective of the whole thing is that it was their way of trying to set up her boyfriend, just kind of making him as a red herring to get the eyes off of them potentially being it. Because Mickey was one of her friends, and he's new in the party, so of course he's going to be looked at.
So,
you know,
I don't see it that way. I think this was a gift to the watchers or the viewers. Like, okay, here's a nice piece of cake. You know why? Because you see the fear in her boyfriend's eyes. You see him trying to help. He goes around back and the killer magically leaves and all that. The thing is, it's really reminiscent to the first one. And they're trying to get you to have those same clicks as Sydney. Because she's at the other end kind of freaked out too. But it's also the main reason why that Jerry O'Connell has to try harder in the movie. Harder than any man has to try for any woman I've ever seen. And but other than that, I can't
He's
tell you
so
the
good
real
at trying,
relevance
though.
of this movie or the scene.
He's a sweetie
Well,
pie.
you're forgetting like one of the most important things about that scene is that Jerry O'Connell walks out the door like a couple feet in front of her, and the phone rings, and she's putting on her jacket, and she kind of looks back like, is it worth to pick up the phone? And then he goes, are you ready? And she goes, almost. And she goes and she picks up the phone. And of course, it's Ghostface.
Kind of showing she didn't learn her lesson.
Right. And like one of my favorite lines from that movie. And he's like, oh, like she asked, well, what do you want? And he's like, I want you. It's almost showtime. And she goes, well, why don't you show your fucking face, coward? And he's like, my pleasure. And he closes the door, and it's just like one of the best scenes.
I love it too. I agree. I get it.
I will agree with Billy. I really don't see the point of him going back.
This is where it gets messy for me, though.
I understand. Go ahead.
Is Mickey making that call in the mask, and he's like behind the door? Well, you'll see it now. Like, how is the cue so perfect?
Well, you got to keep in mind too. As soon as the kill's done with Cece, you see Mrs. Loomis with Gail, and she's like has that a catty remark to Gail, and then she goes and runs. I got a deadline. So it would make sense to where she would be there to be able to make that call while Mickey was in the closet, because Mickey was already at that party to begin with, so it would be him in the closet, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that.
Okay, fair enough.
100%.
Trying to connect the dots for you there, Billy.
Well, it's just rough, like mask scenes with phone call scenes, and it just gets rougher later on in the movies trying to pinpoint
I love how
who's
much
the caller and who's not, and then
Right.
they kind of make it easier in Scream 3 with the weird voice changer that can mimic not only Ghostface but Sidney.
I still
Dewey,
want
and
that
all
thing to this day from 3. That silver circle one with the red little blips from 3. I want it to this day. If I find a fake one that doesn't even work, I think I'm gonna buy it because it's just nostalgic for me. But we're talking about 2 today. We'll be on 3 eventually.
I think my favorite. I'm just gonna leave it there. I was about to say future movies. I like when they hit the thing in the mask. It just makes sense. I like that.
Yeah, I mean that is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, the thing in the neck when they click it, it goes.
Yeah.
It's so great. So great.
There is a scene I think we skipped over that I wanted to talk about a little bit with, or no, it's right after this one, I think. Or it's the scene when Jamie Kennedy's in the cafeteria with Dewey.
Well, you're skipping over the police station.
And
Okay,
the police
let's
station
go.
scene,
Okay,
and
okay.
you're also skipping over the cafeteria scene.
Okay, I didn't know I forgot that was after that. I thought it was like after the whole yeah. Never mind. Go ahead.
Bad horror. Bad horror.
Sorry, I got
So
I was jumping ahead. My bad.
Dewey and Gail have a couple of scenes too, and
Yeah.
Dewey's spouting about his life. It makes me so sad how her book kind of ruined his like police job.
Yeah.
And-
like she tarnished his reputation almost.
And he kind of limps and walks around kind of like spastically, and it doesn't help with the James Bond. Like I can't help but to laugh because you're just trying to make this guy seem so cool when he's not. And when he's talking to Gail, like it's supposed to be confidence, like, you ruined me, I hate you, but it comes off, you ruined me, I hate you. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you guys are trying. This is rough, but I feel sorry for Dewey. Dewey is my guy. He's my boy. He was great in the first one. He's getting better in the second one. Third, he shines. 4, he is the star for me. But
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
ahead.
and yeah, like that's why I wanted to bring up that one scene, and I'll bring it up when we get there. But that like it really goes in. You see Dewey's progression as a cop and an individual in this film a lot. Because Jamie Kennedy's character is very like those two have a lot of back and forth in this film, and like Dewey's very to jump to his theories, you know, and you can still see Dewey's like, because later in the films Dewey's like very he knows, you know, he's got this down. Dewey's still learning in this film, you know, he's not our sheriff yet, he's still our deputy.
Dewey's the only one with injuries from the first movie that he's still recovering from. Randy, I believe, got shot. And he's acting all cocky, all happy-go-lucky. I can't recall.
Oh, he wants the girl. He's got to act cocky if he wants that girl. I mean, we're talking about
all the other injuries from the first one. But Dewey has the blunt end of everything, and his life makes me sad. The next scene I have written down is the cafeteria scene. I don't believe I'm skipping over
I think I love you. The audition scene that won him the role.
Not a lot of people know that Wes Craven had everybody audition for that role and sing that song, and Jerry O'Connell won.
Another Tom Cruise reference, by the way. You guys told me the first one I didn't know was a real reference, and then this one I like no Top Gun.
Yeah.
That scene too. Go ahead, Rob. Were you saying something?
No. I was just gonna the song that it's from.
Yes. Like, I love that scene, I think, too, because I feel like it gives you a really good 90s feel, because they don't tolerate that stuff nowadays. College isn't as fun like that. Like, if somebody got up on the table, they'd be like, get your... Back then, like, you know, it was about stuff like that. We had experiences. We weren't on the internet all day, not saying that's a bad thing, because it gives us stuff like this. But we had more experiences like that, and people weren't like, stop that, you know. They allowed us as like younger kids or adults to do these things and like have fun, where it feels like so constrictive now sometimes with these things. And
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just have one more point, but go ahead.
What if I told you that scene's so much deeper than just singing and dancing and trying to have a good college life?
Please tell me. You
have Mickey just smiling, having fun, clapping. He just murdered somebody the night before. And the thing is I'm your friend, guys. I'm going to rip your guts out. It's the psychological thing inside. But he's over here. You see him clapping and having fun with everybody else.
Not to mention when we begin this scene, he's trying to convince that it could be Randy. You know, like, Randy makes sense. He's the film major. He's into the blah, blah, blah. So, like, going into Mickey, like, really trying, like, it's kind of a little obvious at the end of the day when you rewatch it that it's Mickey, because he's pushing other people's names this whole damn time. You know, but go ahead, Billy.
It just feels off-putting. So imagine you going to your day-to-day and you don't know the person next to you and what they've been up to, what happened. And, like, you're over here, we're doing this podcast, but Rob killed the guy the night before. It's just amazing.
Rob!
Why me?
You're supposed to be sleeping!
He's over here.
You texted me you were going to bed with I'm supposed to help you hide the body, okay? No,
with all the ghost face posters that I've made on TikTok of myself, I could be the killer. So.
No, we already know Rob's the killer in Screen 7. I have commented this many times on a video. Rob keeps telling us who's the killer in Screen 7. It's going to be him. We know this already.
I'm jumping too far ahead, but I don't want to wait like 6 episodes. I used to do celebrity interviews, and I almost did one with... his name's escaping me now. He plays Huey in The Boys.
Jack Quaid. Fun fact: Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's son.
I was this close. I had questions all ready to go, and the first question is, how does it feel being the killer in Scream? And this was 6 months before it aired, so I wish I would have done it. I wish I would have got the knee-jerk reaction, like, what are you talking about? The thing is, that's the one that I would have for sure knew was the killer before it even came out. And then,
yes.
And two, like, the psychological stuff in this movie, though, the Mickey clapping, having fun, it's just, that's the one thing I want to stress in this scene. You don't know who your friends are.
Yeah, you know, it's almost like he's doing that to like cover, like to keep his cover. but it's also like, how insane are you that you just cut up these people the night before and you're sitting here, yeah, like hyping everybody up, like, get out of here, you psycho.
Yep. I mean, it really is. It's like he is like he really is like one of the truest psycho killers of this franchise, because he just shows his crazy throughout this whole film. He's manipulative, he's believing, he's sympathetic, he's sexy, you believe him, you know, it's just one of those things. And like going into that, like the climax of that scene after he sings the song, it's just the music to me in that scene is so 90s, because I believe it's Bittersweet Symphony that starts playing in the background.
Mhm.
And that song is like 90s to me.
Well, yeah, because
you know?
he finishes the song and he gives her his Greek letters,
Mhm.
and Hallie makes it known to everybody else at the table, like, that's tradition, but the other brothers in the fraternity are gonna kick his ass for that because you're not supposed to do that.
Yep.
That's
Mhm.
where I'm like,
Mhm.
me and my wife were watching that today. I'm like, you know why they added that part, right? And they're like, why? I'm like, because they needed a setup and they didn't have a good way of setting it up. So they're like, oh, he's gonna get his ass kicked later. We all know it is. Like,
Yeah.
but the thing is like, there's a killer on the loose. Like everybody, it's fine to act high or college when it's actual college, but you had like 3 people already dead. Like, when do you start taking life seriously and putting college on the back burner?
I mean, I get it.
I mean, I guess when there's a killer after you your entire life and you can't get away
You know,
Well, the
but
thing is like,
then again, these frats are like they're crazy. You think a killer on the loose is gonna stop a bunch of drunk college kids from doing anything?
from hell no.
my issue is they all know that they're targets, but they don't care. Like, so in a roundabout way, the only person I really feel sorry for in this whole movie is Dewey and Sydney. Because Dewey is
Oh my God.
like,
Dewey, my baby face cherub. He is so cute in this. Like he tries to be like so like, you know, like I'm the
can
main
we just go
leading
ahead and jump to
man.
the Baskin Robbins scenes? Because that's where they're eating at. We keep calling it
Oh
a
my God.
cafeteria.
We can because I love that scene, because I wanted to touch on how much Dewey is like eating up Jamie Kennedy's character in this, and just going with his theories, and like it's the epitome of showing that Dewey is still learning himself as a cop.
This is
you know?
essentially to me like a South Park scene. Dewey is Inspector Butters. Hey everybody, I'm Inspector Butters. I'm here to solve the mystery.
It's true though.
And then
Like-
Randy is Eric Cartman. Like, hey guys, I'm not the murderer. This guy over here, he like he's just manipulating Detective Butters. He's trying to believe, I'm gonna solve the mystery, everybody, and like, it can't be me, Butters. I promise. If it's not me, then it's Mickey, and if it's not Mickey, then it's nobody. It can't be us.
Well, this is also the scene where we learn the rules of a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of foreshadows. It's kind of strange.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because it's like, because what is right? He says the first rule is the body count is always bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and there's always more blood, more gore. But before he gets to the last rule of about it being a franchise or something like that, Dewey cuts him off, and we never get to hear that last rule.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll be honest. I was distracted the whole time that scene goes on, every single time. Because one, I'm a fat kid. I love Baskin Robbins. I'm trying to decipher what they're eating. 2, the stab,
Billy, they had milkshakes, okay?
the stab stuff that's going on in the background, the Tori Spelling, and like the scene with Luke Wilson, or not Luke.
No, can we
Luke-
mention
it's Luke
how
Wilson.
good sport? Yeah, how much of a good sport Tori Spelling was to do this film, because the original quote from the original was like Sydney hating on the fact that they would pick her for the part, but she still did it anyway.
What I was gonna say, that it's kind of fun that they do. There's that scene when they enforce the curfew on the town, and
Yep.
there's nobody around, and they're going to get stuff for the party, and she's like, "Wow, it's like the town that dreaded sundown." And
Yep. Love
Dewey
it.
said something. Oh, that like I never saw that movie. It's about a killer in Texas, right? And like they say to him, "Oh, what if they make a movie about this?" And she's like, "Yeah, my luck that we cast Tori Spelling."
So,
Yep.
I
Yep.
love Randy and how they're talking about this because Randy's like, I got a nobody and you got at least David Schwimmer. And
Oh, Randy.
but my issue is like this guy, he went through the worst of it in Scream 1. And then on top of that, his sister died. And hey, I'm bringing back Tatum hate. Nobody talks about Tatum for the next 4 movies. Tatum's a like nobody character, and like I don't even think she's
People got
missing.
pissed at that.
Mentioned
People
in the
got
stab.
pissed at that. That's why they added her ashes in 5. You know, they really got pissed. Go ahead, Billy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I don't think they added like a cast name in this movie at all for her character.
No, they don't even drop her name in this film at all.
No.
It's weird.
Yeah, and for Dewey being such a loving character, it's kind of funny that he doesn't bring her up at least once.
And like,
You know.
why wouldn't Randy mention this? Like, that's like that was his sister. No, not Randy, but like Dewey. Like, why wouldn't Dewey talk about it? Like, that's you lost your sister. Like, that's kind of like odd to me.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's why I think it's important for people that haven't saw it or seen the little Easter egg in 5 that Tatum's ashes are in Dewey's trailer in Scream 5. If you are one of those that wonder why Dewey's never thought about her, he does technically have her ashes, and that's how they made up for not mentioning her.
Thank you for showing us a pile of dust and no mention whatsoever. That's how I love my Tatum.
I mean, they tried, okay? It was 5. They tried.
If anything, it feels more like a thing you do with your dogs. Like, hey, here it is, guys.
I mean, I can't say anything because my baby's ashes are on my shelf, so I can't say anything.
Yeah, like, seriously, same vibe. I get it. Thank you for nailing that point. Anyways, next. Okay, where do you guys want to go to next? There's so many things to talk about.
Rob is a super special guest. It's up to Rob, of course. Mr. Glorious Purple Blue over here.
So after the ice cream scene is the scene where Gail gets the phone call, right? And she's like on the phone, right?
Is it?
Oh, I mute myself. I thought it was the library first and then the Gail call.
That's right. Yeah, it's the scene where Sydney is in the library and she has like the little confrontation with Cotton.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, which
the threatening messages on like what was it? Dial-up internet.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing too. I wanted to bring that scene up just for the fact that they tried to show like the resurgence or not resurgence or the incoming technology because for one, they had a lot of caller ID from the beginning of this film. Sydney calls somebody out on caller ID. They showed the computers that was like in the 90s, like that was a big thing to have a computer like that personally.
The detectives' reactions to this are so nonchalant. It kind of ticks me off. The one guy was like, "Oh, you don't have to log in. It's from terminals here." He's basically saying, "Oh no, he's in the building sending it to this computer himself." And the detectives walk up 2 seconds after that. They're like, "Internet," and they're like, they're not doing shit. Like they're just there to look the part.
No.
And then Cotton kind of corners her.
No.
And it just feels weird. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah. You have 2 private eyes right there. They both go to look for people and leave Cindy alone in a corner for Cotton to get to. No, one of the private eyes couldn't keep an eye on her and the other one couldn't go look. Yeah, I had an issue with that, but I guess it was a big moment for Cotton.
I do love that scene where he corners her on the steps and it's a
big moment for Cotton. It's a big moment for Cotton because you don't see a crap ton of Cotton, and if it wasn't for that scene, the ending I don't think would have been as effective.
Because like think about it, he has a lot of animosity towards her because Sheeta wasn't sure who killed her mother, so he felt like he was framed, which he was by Billy and Stu, but he thinks that she owes him something for doing that to him. For testifying against him.
I just hate how stupid that this comes off as, though. Let's be honest. One, there's a murderer out there. Yeah, that's why I hate it. Like,
I mean,
Cotton,
he's an asshole. He's always been an asshole. I mean, keep in mind, Cotton comes from the place of infidelity in this story. You know, the only reason he's in the story is because he was Sydney's mother was having an affair with him. You know, so he's of course
had
not.
an affair with everybody. Billy's dad.
I know that's Scream 3. Okay, we're on Scream 2.
No, that was
we
Scream
don't know
1
that
as
yet.
well.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Hey,
they did mention her being.
Yeah, he's like, he made my mommy left, and that's why I'm all angry and stuff. So I don't know.
I can't with the voices. I can't with the voices.
I don't know why I'm giving them all like terrible, like sounding Looney Tunes character voices.
It's like a child that names all of the stuffed animals and gives them different voices.
That's pretty much it. Like he has mommy issues, and that's how you figure out. Oh, this is it. And then like, like the fun fare for that is just writing Cindy's mom, and that's what you get in or what was it, Westboro?
Yeah.
Yep. So this is where I just feel weird. And he's sitting down in the investigative chair saying, it was just a heated debate. And he's just getting angry at the cops. Am I good to go? Am I good to go? Like,
you got me for yelling in a public library.
Like, we weren't doing anything. We were talking very heatedly.
So this guy is so obviously trying to be the red herring for this whole movie. It's just, you know what, cops? Let's just take him off the map. Like, they had an aggression. Did he grab her? I think he did touch her.
He grabs her arm.
That's assault. We're keeping her here for 24 hours. So there's one killer off the streets.
Well, see, that's the thing too. It shows what
off the streets.
Well, it shows where the film's from too, because in the 90s, just touching somebody like that, there was like the sense of whoever like hit first in the sense was the one that got in trouble too. Now you both get in trouble, so you know it was a different social climate. So I don't know. Like I get what you're saying. Nowadays, you touch anybody, you're going away.
Rough, and the police side was so. Look at Straight Outta Compton, the Rodney King stuff, and like police involvement was heavy and hard. So the kind of like leniency that they kind of have in this, I was like, man, you have 3 people dead and not one suspect's in custody. You guys are ass at your job. Put Inspector Dewey back on the job, because at least he's whipping around campus trying his hardest.
Oh my god!
I feel like those two security guards that they had to like protect her, they were absolutely useless.
Garbage.
So
imagine
the conversations they're having. They're like, "Man, what a waste of a day. We have to work around with her."
She didn't even give them the benefit of the doubt. She said garbage, straight garbage.
It's just terrible. They have some of my best.
God.
They have the best scenes in the movie, if you ask me, though.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to jump ahead. I'm giving
the car scene's my favorite scene in this whole entire film.
The next scene,
I agree.
believe, is the trio, the Randy, the Yale, and the Dewey. And I wish we would have got more of that, because that felt like a fun group to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you also had Joel thrown in the mix there, who was like, okay, I don't need to be hearing about no dead cameraman.
Seriously. What was the line? He like walked away. What was he doing? What did he say he was going to do?
I'm gonna go get something to eat, take a Prozac, something like that.
You know what he comes back with?
Or something.
He comes back with Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm like, oh my god.
He does come back with Dunkin' Donuts. But, I mean, maybe it's a reference to the original guy. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good...
The original guy, like, he looked like he ate a ton of donuts, but he was kind of lazy, though. He wouldn't leave. He's like, I'd much rather watch these high school chicks on this 30-second delayed camera. Like... So, no, I don't get the same vibe. That guy was creepy. This guy was real. So real that I thought he was probably the killer.
Did you mute? Okay, I was scared. I thought you muted yourself for a second, Rob. I was like, please don't mute yourself. We love you too much.
I was like, I could see that. I can see Joel being a killer. I can also see Sid's roommate being a killer. I kind of wanted it to be Allie.
Oh, I forgot to bring up the kills.
No,
the majority of the kills was left-handed. So that was another thing I was looking out throughout the rest of this
Oh,
movie.
yeah. That's right. I was going to mention about that too, but you go ahead, Billy, because you probably know about it, more about it than I do.
I doubt that. I just know from there on out, I think there was a script discrepancy, like with the roommate supposed to be the killer, that she was left-handed. So there's
Right.
another red herring there, and then
Okay.
so there's
Well,
a lot of people that are left-handed in this movie, and I think it's completely by accident rather than like on purpose.
Yeah, and also in that Baskin Robbins scene, Dewey is they're going through the suspect, like Dewey and Randy are going through the suspect list, and he's like, "What about Hallie? It's kind of different, but it's kind of like Candyman, like she's weak, she's bad for your teeth."
yes. He has great lines. Jamie Foxx. Like, I'm glad we get his family later on in the series so we can get some more of his, like, type of comedy. But Jamie Kennedy, I mean, like, there's nothing like him from the 90s, man. He was, like, the comedy guy in the 90s.
Yeah.
See, the only thing I don't like about Randy is the Randy clones. Because they keep trying and trying and trying to do Randy without completely doing it.
I think
Scream
once they
4
hit...
in particular.
I think once they hit 5, they kind of like do it justice with the siblings. I feel personally, but that's just my opinion. I like where they went with the family aspect. And bringing back his sister and stuff.
Yeah, without jumping too much into Scream 5, I love Mindy and Chad.
Yes, so do I.
I'll give you guys
Me
my
and
opinions once we
Izzy
get
got
to
that
episode.
as our people. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are we giving it all away? Are we telling people that Rob has committed to the whole?
I guess we slipped.
Sorry, I'm so excited.
Rob's committed to the series. He signed the contract. $2
Signed
deal.
with blood.
I'm just-
Hey, no. Just like the original Little Mermaid, if he does not go with his contract, I get his voice, I get his TikTok, so I get to be the Rob Loves Horror 93 baby. No, I'm just playing. I get to do all those monologues.
Then you can wake up and be this every day.
I just play. We know we love you, Rob.
Randy takes the phone. Randy's like yelling at Ghostface, Gail, and
Look you! I can't even do it. He's like,
So-
fuck
Gail's not
That's
here,
a-
but like
that's another thing that I kind of have an issue with, though. Why are they taking other people's phones?
oh, I know.
Why, do you know
I mean,
why? Yeah, I mean, Ghostface is clearly busy on that one phone, right? Do they think there's multiple phone calls happening at once and there's like 5 killers? I don't get it.
what do you think, Rob?
I mean, I think they had to have like multiple burner phones to
That's fine.
pull it off.
But if they're teasing Randy, like, and just going hard on Randy, do you
Keep
think...
in mind, as I said earlier, they actually, fun fact that everybody says 6 is the first time Gail gets called, but that is false. I realized it is Gail's phone that Ghostface calls here. So, go ahead.
But what's the most important rule of surviving a stab movie?
Not splitting.
Never answer the phone.
That's true. But splitting up was the worst case scenario. And the thing is
True.
Officer Doofus and his bimbo girl like go around. Hey, are you talking to Ghostface?
Too fast.
Hey, Mr. Ghostface. Ghostface, are you there? Are you there, Mr. Ghostface? And they're like, no, it's Brad. And they're like, who's Brad? And they're like, who's this? It's Gil Weathers. I write books. It's like, come on. Like, why are you doing this? This is clearly, hey, let's get Randy alone scene. And you like that's how you know Randy's gone. And that's what sucks.
And
That hurts my heart.
And one of my favorite lines is when Ghostface asks him, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And he goes, "Go Girls." Absolutely
Yes.
terrifying.
Yes, that slash at Showgirls.
Corey Taylor, I met him. I asked him what's his favorite scary movie. He wrote Showgirls. So I know that Corey
you
Taylor has to be a
serious?
fan of this movie.
That's awesome.
I mean, yeah. It's just like let's just put like respect into other films in there. It's so cool. And Randy starts spouting off like different slasher movies that he thinks that Ghostface that are Ghostface's favorite.
Yep.
It's just such a cool way that they pay homage to other horror films in the universe.
They do. They do. And the film genre in general too, you know, because like especially with like the film class scenes and her doing her performance on stage and talking to her director and stuff. It's a really cool glimpse into that like world that not everybody gets to see. And I really like the college setting. I like how it's like a drama college. You know, it's fun.
So this,
Yeah.
I know I kind of pinpoint and like be a douche when it comes to movies like this. Like, hey, there's this issue. Hey, there's that issue. This movie is definitely a really great, intense film, and scenes like this I still have fun with. And like, I have merch. I love bad movies, and that's my taste. But this movie kind of has issues, and I love pointing out the issues. Let's go ahead and go on to the next scene. Do you guys recall what that next scene is?
Well, we kind of jump back to the coffee house scene. Where are we going, Billy? Our humble leader.
Well, we were on Randy getting.
Yeah.
So
and then we're on Randy. Oh, we didn't talk about Randy dying. We have to because he's an iconic character of the franchise. We can't jump over that. So our boy Randy, he's on the phone with Ghosty Face. What happens to him, Rob?
I mean, like he's walking, he's pacing back and forth in front of that van that's hanging out there.
That
the
TV
only freaking
van.
vehicle there. The only place that somebody can hide conveniently
Right,
Randy.
And the door opens, Ghostface pulls him in and just starts giving him the stab, stab, stab. And these group of kids walk past with a really loud boombox so nobody can hear him.
I love the dancing to that.
So
like he's just twirling around with his flannel. Like, what are you, Stevie Nicks? Like, come on.
Shout out to the 90s boombox that nobody owns anymore.
But that scene when they opened the door, though, that was haunting.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, where's Randy?
And they scream, and it's like you see him all bloody. Oh, my God. That was traumatic the first time I saw it.
Gail Weathers' scream, and when they find Randy, she's one of those, like, that's one of those iconic screams in horror movies to me.
Yeah.
She did really well with that scream, you know. I think so. She's like, that. It's just, I love it.
My conspiracy is this is the only murder that, Nancy Loomis did as Ghostface, essentially, with the phone call and all, because the way that body was found and the way they quickly got out of that car, it felt like a emotional kill, especially after the name drop of Billy. And like, I think they're waiting for him to get closer and closer and closer. I don't think he got close enough. And like, as soon as you said Billy, that's when they're like, okay, open the car, bring him in. We're giving him the business.
Well, yeah. Well, he also, she also references at the end when she says, "Oh, Randy talked crap about my boy, and I got a little knife happy."
Oh,
so that's where it. So that's where it confirms that. That's where it confirms that Mrs. Loomis killed Randy.
So she wasn't just a pawn, or not the pawn, the talker and the boss she was actually doing, opposed to just being there. So it drops that. So you're not thinking like, oh, she just was telling Mickey to do the whole thing.
So
right.
My notes stop here, and that's when I had to start being a dad. So I don't know where we're going next after this scene.
Okay.
Well, do you guys want to know something fun fact before we
I do.
So, did you guys know that this movie has actually 3 alternate titles?
Ooh, what is it?
So, it was one of them was supposed to be Scream Again.
I like it.
Okay.
The second one is Scream Louder, which I wouldn't have minded that one.
I don't mind that. I like that one then better than Again.
The last one is the worst. It's just Scream the sequel.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I think the Scream...
That's a working title.
The Scream Again and the Scream Louder would have worked. Just like, I mean, Scream 2 works great too, but Scream Again and Scream Louder would have been great. But like, how do you put what would be a title for the next one that would make sense in the
That's
same?
what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Like
So-
with the way the franchise has went, and it's a franchise, not a series, like a trilogy at this point. It's a franchise. Like if they switched up the names like that, can you imagine like trying to keep them in order, like with the different names? You know.
So I'm a weirdo. Like, you know why it would be called the sequel, right?
I know that's Billy.
Well, it's because it's the rules of the sequel. Like, basically, they're naming
Yeah.
it now based off the rules.
That makes sense.
That means
that makes sense.
the next
I will
movie
give
would've
you
been
that, Billy.
Scream the trilogy, Scream the reboot, Scream the what was it called? Remake boot, or like what did they call them in Scream 5? Requel. Scream the requel.
Prequel.
So that's how the titles would have came about, but now we kind of have the Saw 1, Saw 2, Saw 3 kind of gist, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the thing is, I do love romantic names when it comes to like sequels, like Friday the 13th, New Blood, or Dream Warriors for Nightmare on Elm
I was about to
Street.
say Dream Warriors. You beat me, butthead.
Friday the 13th, not Friday the 13th, but Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge.
Yeah, so I prefer names over like 2, 3, 4.
I will agree with you. It has a little bit more effect on me.
But
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
only
I think
one thing
like
I
the
hate.
only
Go ahead.
reason. Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say I think the only reason it works for Scream is Scream is the only one that does that really. Like all the other franchises, they added that little extra just to like distinguish. Scream, you know, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we know we're getting 7 at this point. But yeah, you know, I think it kind of does distinguish the franchise a little bit, just having that singular number. Though I doubt that that was their mindset at the time, but being down the line now, I think it works for the franchise, just me personally.
Absolutely.
I was just gonna say I hate requel names because Scream 5 kind of like I have to call it Scream 5 now because if I just say Scream 2020 or
Do
whatever,
not come for 5 in Rob's presence.
Well, no,
I love.
Do
I just
not.
hate that it's just called Scream. It deserves a
Yeah,
better
I don't
title.
like that. I don't like that it's just called Scream either.
Neither did I.
But I really hate when people call it 5 Cream.
Since when?
Well,
You've never heard.
Since when? Oh my god!
If you type, on TikTok, there's that way
Y'all nasty out there. Y'all some nasty people.
Well,
If you
that's where the 5 would go. Scream Forum. That's what they call Scream 4. Scream Forum.
yeah, Scream Forum. But
Okay.
if you look at if you look at Scream 5 and the
Yes.
way that the S is,
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Okay.
you see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So like I
Okay.
saw a ton of videos where people were putting F Cream and then the
Mhm.
Ghostface voice over it, and they would be like, "What's your favorite scene in 5 Cream?" And it's like, are we watching Scream or some kind of adult picture? Because what's going on?
I love it so much. I love it so much.
It's so good, so good.
It is. It like
I'm gonna agree with Billy though. I wish they would have just kept it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Especially like now that I'm like, we good?
Yeah,
What?
sorry, my camera I think it put itself on autofocus, and the reason why it's a little blurry here and there, so I'm sorry, I just reset it really quick. I hope we didn't mess anything up.
Nope. Looks like we're all good. So where are we
Okay.
going next, Rob?
Yeah, Rob.
What scene are we at? I'm sorry.
We just passed
We-
Randy.
So we're at-
Randy passed.
I'm like chomping at the bit to get to the cop scene, but I know there's like
I'm
boring
chomping at the
scenes
bit
in-
to the car scene, but we're keeping structure here, kids.
I believe the next scene is Sydney talking to her acting professor.
Yes, the director.
There's that whole scene where he's telling her, "You can do this. You're strong enough to do this." And then they're doing the rehearsal, and all the masks are like floating around her, all those people, and she has the scare that it looks like Ghostface, and she gets scared, and it's that whole
Mhm.
like
Well, that's the thing.
dramatic moment.
What drama teacher?
I like that
You
scene.
have like 3 people dead at your college. When do you start shutting down extracurriculars and like things? There's like a 6 o'clock curfew. And Scream 1, I think it only took 2 deaths for there to
It
be
did.
a 6
Yeah.
o'clock curfew.
Yeah. But then
Absolutely.
again, I mean, I guess the only thing that I give them that this is college, that was high school, so it's kind of like a bigger scale kind of.
That's
I
not
don't
true. If
know.
you go to college now and there's at least
I
one death,
know.
they're
I
like,
know.
hey,
I was giving them the
security.
benefit of the doubt, Billy.
And the thing is I just hate goofy cops, and they don't get better in this franchise at all. The
Yeah,
most
I'll give you
competent
that.
one's Dewey, and I give Dewey such a hard time.
Well, Dewey's still learning in this one, okay? So we can give him a little bit of a hard time, but he's a sweetie pie, so we can't go too hard on him. He tries. He does it out of love.
Well, it's just rough because he has this thriller walk the whole time, and if we jump to the like staircase, like that's what pops in my head. It's Thriller, and he's running up the stairs. It's Thriller night. Like I'm like, this is rough. This is rough, Dewey. I'm happy that you're the tough
I'm
man.
not
For
laughing.
me, it's the way he goes down the stairs when he has to hop. Almost the poor thing.
Yeah.
It's like it makes you uncomfortable almost. It's almost like you can feel his pain, poor guy.
Yeah, because he's still healing. He has a nerve messed up in his back, so because in later installments, like his limp's still there. It just gets better throughout time.
Right,
He's
right.
really still healing in this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Dewey's a lover. Though he's a cop,
Definitely
he's a
not
lover.
fighter. Like he tries his hardest.
No, he
but
tries.
let's go ahead and can we talk about the Dewey and Gale scenes?
The Dewey and Gal scene, the one in like
where they're
right
about to
when
get it on a professor's
Okay.
desk. And then like,
yeah.
So basically, Dewey and Gale figure out that if the killer's been watching them, then he's gonna be on the tapes that Gale has been filming the whole
Right.
time.
Well,
So that leads us into a classroom with a old school box TV, like they used to give us in our classrooms, kids, with the VHS, and they pop the tapes in,
but did
and
it
they
matter?
started watching.
They didn't really start watching. It was the Netflix and chill for their generation because they start like getting on the desk.
Stop coming for my scenes, okay? I love this scene, like the background, like
Do you know
them
what
and
ruined the scene?
their song.
Gale's
I love
ego.
it.
Gale's ego ruins the scene. She's like, "Oh man, look how great I shot that.
I love my
This
girl,
is
girl.
a good scene." Wait, I didn't film that. Hey, Dewey, I didn't film that. Who's taking my work? And it's like, no, you idiot. It's the killer, bimbo. And then like you look up, you're like, oh, there's the killer in the window. And this is where magical teleportation happens. Dewey limps as fast as he can up the stairs.
I
opens the
mean,
door, and
no,
he's
like
go ahead. I'm just
no, I like the scene where like because from here like they end up watching the tapes, they see the killers like been watching them on the tapes. It's not their tape, it's not Gale's tapes, it's somebody else's, and then the killer's there. So it ends up in a soundproof room. Dewey's on one side, Gale's on the other. Do you want to go into that scene, Rob? Because I adore
the
this.
chase scene going into that is so amazing. Go ahead,
The
Rob.
chase, Gale's chasing as soon as the minute that the ghost face pops up behind her and she jumps over the counter and she whacks him with that phone, it is on from that point. Like she is booking it down those hallways, trying every door to get away from him, and she finally finds that room. And it's like it's one of my favorite little lines in the whole movie because it's the way she says it. Her delivery is it's the way she adds the CK at the end of it. So she closes herself in that one room and there's no lock on it. She goes, fuck.
Yep.
It's so great. And, I've never heard Courtney Cox, drop the F-bomb before, except for the first film. And I was just like, whoa, I wasn't ready for it. It's just it's one of those things you watch her on Friends and then you watch her in this and you're like, whoa.
I love how sneaky Ghostface is. Like he's not moving like a person. It feels like a snake on a hunt.
It's almost it's almost like Mickey was like into like that like tactical like training almost or something. Maybe he like studied that to like learn how to move around a little bit more quieter. But he wears those thick Ghostface boots that we see in every Ghostface killer wear.
Like I like shoes and I wear boots all the time. There's no way you're being that stealthy with those shoes.
And, let's go back real quick to the library scene when Cotton confronts Sydney. The camera pans down and it shows his shoes have those boots on. Like that, like, here's the other red, like, here's like another example of a red herring.
Yes.
Like he had those boots on. Like it must be him, but it's just like it's just a coincidence.
It's beating a dead horse to me. Like you're doing so many things making him look like a killer, and like the whole time it's like somebody's like, no, it has to be him, and he's still beating a dead horse.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
Like, no, it's
that Gail chase scene is great, and and then she winds up in that soundproof room. And then Dewey's trying to get her attention, and he's banging on the window. She's not hearing him, and then Ghostface just pops up behind him and just gives it to him right there. And he like manages to get control of the microphone and like scream for her, and she turns around, and her reaction is just like so heartbreaking.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Rough scene for me. That's just. Officer Doofus being Doofus again,
but like the blood on the glass and everything just coming down is so good, and just like Courtney Cox's performance in this one is really good, I think, and it's just like I love that scene. It's just like I remember crying. I've cried a couple times because of that scene. It's one of those scenes. Dewey's our boy, and it hurts. It hurts. If Dewey gets hurt, we get hurt.
Well, it's just I think what hurts me is like when people don't learn from the mistakes, and how many times has he been in this like mistake? The way Chad is for the new movie is kind of how I am with this. I'm like Austin Powers, like, why won't you die?
Don't you diss my Chad. I love Chad. I love me some Mason Gooding.
Well, that's a topic for another day.
I was about to say, I will let you duke this one out. You two can duke this one out.
We're being cordial for the first three guys, but then I'm getting out the gloves. Then I'm getting. Did we lose sound?
No, I muted myself because this thing's loud as hell when I use it.
What an epic chase scene, and like the music there when she's running through the hallway, it's like it's so intense, so great.
I love the music in this one. I do. I love the music in most of them, but like I love the music in this one. Like from that cafeteria scene to this scene to a bunch of them, like. The music in this one's really good.
So well done.
So this is before the cop scene actually happens, but you see Sydney and her friend get their stuff. They're getting ready to leave. And then
she says, I'm her therapist. So she can go with her. Her best friend.
The boyfriend's being left on campus. And then that one quote where they're like, oh, he's going to get his ass kicked for doing that. And then you get to see, hey, we're kicking your ass. And it's like,
as stupid as I may sound, okay, when I was a kid, I believed that he was going to get killed the first time watching it in that scene. Like, they fooled me. Like, I thought somebody was coming for him. Okay, but I as a kid, okay, I believed it. So I'm saying it was effective to an extent. I get it. They fooled me the first time, but yes, it's a transition scene. The frat boys come and pick Sydney's boyfriend up and take him to do punish him for giving his what are they like number or like his symbols? They're
Greek letters. The Greek
letters. There we go. Yeah.
So like when you're in a Greek fraternity, like usually the fraternities have necklaces made for all the brothers, and it's the letters of the fraternity.
See, I would never know.
And he gave that to Sydney.
Fraternity.
Oh God!
I mean,
we just eat bread before every meals, so that's.
See, I knew it was a joke coming, Rob. I knew we were gonna walk into it.
I've never been to college, nor will I probably ever go, so I know nothing about the whole. But like, I went through an obsession with Greek mythology and all of that stuff. So like
I passed out with flying colors in school. I love Greek mythology.
the Greek letters, like just the look of like the way they like write the Greek letters out is so pretty, and like the way they look on the necklace is really cool too.
Yes.
Food's
Yes,
fine.
I
I like
agree.
their cheese. I'm just- I'm just-
About that
Damn.
feta.
I gotta start doing shots on these podcasts with you. I can't handle
I'm
it.
about to fed it up with your jokes,
I
Billy.
know.
Oh, that's Italian again. Damn it.
I gotta turn my smoke machine on. I'm turning my smoke machine on. You ready?
Oh, good God.
That's the
Technical
smoke
difficulty.
machine. See? Smoke machine. Smoke machine.
That's just the
See?
air coming out of Lilith's head, everybody. It's definitely not
No,
anything.
it's not. I have a professional smoke machine over there.
Professional smoke
Wow,
machine.
how nice
See?
and on her
I'll turn it on
birthday.
again. I turned 21 today. I'm allowed to do what I want. Thank you. Anyway, that's my foot. You guys go ahead.
Anyways, let's go ahead and jump to the cop
I'm still
scene,
here.
because this is so
Please,
amazing.
lads. I love that scene. Oh my God. It's my favorite scene when I was younger. It was so impactful to me. I can say so much about this scene, but I'll let you guys go at it because
No, go
Rob,
ahead.
I love this scene so much. It's just
This is one of my favorite scenes too, and it's done so well, and the effects are done very well too.
Yes, and like the tension in this scene. So the Cindy's two caretakers that were hired from the police, like private eyes or the policemen that are watching her, they're driving to her to a secure location with Haley, her best friend, who's under the assumption she's her doctor. Ha ha hee hee. You know. So now you know she ain't gonna get to a secure location, and obviously she does not. And like it's just the tension once this car crashes. And
you
like
just skip the brutality of the cops.
no,
Yeah,
as I said, like you go ahead, go ahead. You guys are willing to add to this because go ahead.
Glazing over when they're sitting at the stoplight, and you know how.
Oh no. Yeah, I was yeah. Go ahead.
I
Go
knew
ahead.
you
Go
were
ahead.
eventually gonna get there, but
Yes,
you know.
yes. Go ahead.
Before my beard grows down like Gandalf.
I'm sorry, I'm a gabber. Okay.
You're a skipper, not a gabber.
I just have certain scenes that I love so much that I have in my head, and then I like get to them, and I'm like, oh crap, we're not there yet, Lilith. Stop it.
Okay, Rob, talk about it.
I mean, so they're stopped at the stoplight, and Hallie
Mhm.
says to them, "Where are you taking us?" And the officers are like, "Oh, we can't. If we told you, we'd have to kill you." And the other guy turns around and he says, "Don't ask, don't tell." And here comes our ghost face right at the throat, and he just like completely demolishes him. Like the sounds there from the knife, like cutting his throat, are so like vicious sounding, and it's the squelching for me. It's the squelching.
Sound makes horror so much better. Like the gurgles and the squelches and like like all those good sounds. Like it makes it.
Yeah, so Ghostface stabbed the one guy, and then the other guy tries to get the car to keep moving, and then he winds up like struggling with Ghostface, and Ghostface takes over the car, and then the other guy winds up on the outside, and he's like, "Get out of the car, fucker!" And Ghostface just pushes the gas, and he hits him, and they crash into a million different things, and then there's that epic moment of that pipe going right through that guy's eye.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to mention that. Oh my God.
It's one of the kills that really disturbs me in this movie, because not only does it go right through his eye, but it's like the camera is trained on him afterward, and he's like,
yeah, like the jiggle. Yes.
The gurgling and the squelching and the sounds right there is no.
I am so glad they allowed them to keep that in. I am so glad. It makes it.
It almost looks like an unrated shot, but
it does. It does. Like, especially for the 90s. because like they didn't get away with a lot in the 90s because horror was really making a resurgence. And like they weren't letting them push it very far in a lot of
There
circumstances.
was a huge fight to keep a lot of that stuff in with the MPAA.
Oh, I can believe it because it was like 5 or 7 times that Wes Craven had to put the first one in for R rating. And then the production company had to step in just to get an R rating.
And I'll let Billy go here, but this is such like the next moment that happens, like after that car crashes and the pole goes right through his head. Mm-hmm. This is like the next like 2 or 3 minutes is some of the most
intense.
That's why I like skipped a little bit. I'm sorry, I apologize, but it's just the tension in this.
I'll let Billy go with this one because like I can talk about this scene all day.
Yeah, so can I.
They're
like
in the
tension in this scene.
They're in the cop car. There's no way of getting out in the back because that would be illogical. Anybody can walk out of it if you're a criminal. So the only way out is to go through there's because of the pipe, the broken glass, they had to go through the front end, past the dead body, Ghostface just there unconscious. And like there's a scene where like you think about opening the mask.
It's
like,
so scary.
So it gets to the point where she just crawls out the window. She's like, I have to, and then she gets out, she breathes, she's fine. The thing is that scene took a while, and you're like, man, I don't want to go through that again.
Oh my god, it makes you hold your breath.
Well, you sigh in relief. You're like, oh sweet, she got out, she can get her friend out. She goes to open the handle won't open, and she's like, you have to sneak around. And she's like,
yeah.
She's like, no way.
Of course, you're in a cop car. It doesn't open from the outside.
So stop it! I have chills right now. Oh my god!
We get the exact same scene again, and this time it feels more intense because we're so used to these horror tropes. You know that this time she's gonna get grabbed. She's almost out. She made it. She made it. Thank God she made it.
But you know,
and what? Relief.
The next part is one of my favorite kills in this movie because the sound. So like they go to run away, and Sydney's like, "Hallie, I have to know who it is. I can't keep running.
No,
I have to know." And so she runs back, and and then she like discovers that Ghostface is not in the car, and she's like, "He's not here." And and Hallie's like, "What did you say?" She's like, "He's not here." And she's like, "What?" And like all like Ghostface comes out from behind those pallets and grabs her. But he's like, he like gives it to her like 5 or 6 times in the chest. But the sound, you can hear the knife cut through the leather of her jacket. It's I can't describe the sound or like make the sound, but it is such a very distinct noise, and it feels so vicious and brutal.
It does.
It's one of my favorite kills in this movie, and it's unfortunate that it had to be her because I would have loved to see her survive or be Ghostface.
Yes. Like, because at the end of the day, Gal and Dewey are like Sydney's like companions throughout the franchise. Oh!
Friendly fire? What happened?
I'm not laughing at you, I swear.
I hit my foot on the chair and it's metal.
Ooh.
Don't do this!
Keep talking.
No, because Sydney really doesn't have a best friend other than Gal and Dewey, in the sense of outside of Woodsboro throughout this whole franchise, And
Correct.
It would have been cool to have her as another player in the franchise as a backup to Sydney, which I get, it would have changed it up a lot, but it would have been cool for Sydney to have somebody there that wasn't from original Woodsboro. But as we go further in the franchise, if you're not from Woodsboro, you're not trustworthy anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the end of the day, maybe it wouldn't have worked, but it would have been cool to see a little bit more of her throughout the franchise.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention, I love how we're actually not in Woodsboro in this movie. We're somewhere different, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
And it's
because they went to college.
Series until 4.
Mm-hmm. We go back to Woodsboro in 4 because 3 is in L.A. or Hollywood.
Is 4 in Woodsboro?
Yes.
4 is in Woodsboro because we go back to Woodsboro. That's where we get a bunch of new characters that are in play with the new ones. Because it's connected, because it's based in Sydney's family,
Yep.
so they go back to Woodsboro.
And that's where Dewey patrols. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
you know,
sheriff.
I feel bad now because when I did my review of Scream 6 on TikTok, I was like, oh, this is the first time we're getting out of Woodsboro. I was like, no, you friggin' idiot.
No, yeah, see, no, like it was a big deal to go back in 4 and in 5, you know, like it was a big deal, but at the same time, it was cool for them to change up the scenery, you know. At the same time, it still felt like a Scream film, you know. We still got the same feel of a Scream film, though it's not in the same place.
I think my issue is like there's no Scream sceneries that kind of felt the same. The only one that is similar, and it's because it's reminiscent to the first one, and it has to be because of requel reasons, is number 1 and number 5.
Yep.
But number 5 gives like the hard nostalgic, everything feels
that was a
exactly the
huge
same.
selling point for that for 5 though, for a lot of people, that they were going back to that original house in Woodsboro, you know.
And the parallels to the original in that movie are absolutely incredible.
Like I can't wait until we get to that one, because that one scene where they're on the phone and they realize they're in that original house, and it's just like,
oh yeah.
But yeah,
we're at Hallie has just departed.
Hallie has just passed.
And
let's just jump.
R.I.P.
Yep, let's just jump to the stage. Let's get to the
Yeah, so Sydney is she's running back to the college, and she hears the music coming from the theater, and she's calling for the professor, and he's not there, and she finally gets down to the stage, and this body is lowered on that cross that they were using,
like Christ-like, with a mask over.
Yes, and it's Derek underneath the mask, and he's all tied up, and he has like all these wording on him, and she's trying to get him down, and that's when Ghostface makes himself known.
Yes.
And the first killer is
Mickey.
Sorry.
Mickey, our first Ghostface killer is Mickey Altieri.
I love the gaslighting in this scene.
Oh my god.
This is, like I said in our last podcast, we didn't get to see Billy and Stu take off the mask. We get to see Mickey actually take off the mask and reveal himself. And
I appreciate.
I actually like Mickey's reveal better than Billy and Stu's. I love Billy and Stu, don't get me wrong, but Mickey's reveal is epic because I had no idea it was him the first time.
So
yeah, me neither do I. Neither me with Mrs. Loomis either. Like, go ahead, Billy.
The mask takeoff is epic. I'm gonna give you guys
it
that.
Is.
But I do love Billy's reveal the best, though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Billy's iconic, you know, that's why they brought him back in Visions, you know. I don't think Rob's a huge fan of the Visions. Is it you?
We'll get to that, but I love it.
Okay. It was somebody else that said that then. But yeah, it's just, I think Billy is very loved, you know. People have loved Billy from the first, and I think it has to do with I don't know, like it's a mixture of the actor and the character who Billy is, because at the same time he's a psycho killer, but he's lovable.
And you know what? I feel at this point in the film when Mickey reveals himself, his dialogue is so intriguing and epic.
Oh my
it's almost like he does this like constant monologue before before she like hits him in the face with the necklace. It's almost like he has this consistent monologue, and it's like the way that he speaks and the way that he delivers it is so good.
Well,
perfect.
My thing is she starts believing that her boyfriend's the killer, so she stops.
He's really playing Sydney in this scene. He's like, "Is it him? Is it not him? Is it your boyfriend? Is it not? It happened before."
And he's got the knife next to his head. He's like,
yes,
boyfriend killer.
Yes. I used that in my fangirl video of him because I love that scene when he's like, "Is he killer? Is he not? Is he killer? Is he not?" Yeah, I love it.
I mean, his reveal is great because he uses the ghost face changer, the voice changer, and he's like, "Don't you know history repeats itself? Sid, and it's such a great. It's such
The
a great.
tones he uses and just like the deliverance of the lines, like it's just
I
yeah,
want to watch it again now because it's so good.
it is like I as I said, this is my favorite set of killers in the franchise. You can come for me all you want. This is just my opinion.
And this is the monologue that I did on TikTok. Where
It is. I was so excited when you did it. I was like, yes, I love this scene. I loved every second of that. King of Monologues, Rob Love Horror 93.
I think that scene, especially though, like when he's like, "Oh, I got my defense all planned out. I'm gonna book the movies." It's pretty cool, huh? And it's like that took me like 3 or 4 tries to even do it because Timothy talks so fast. And I talk fast too, but the way that like that scene is supposed to be delivered, he's very vindictive and like sadistic in that scene. And the way that the blood is like dripping off of his face and out of his nose, it makes him look so sickening.
Yep. It's very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
And he convinces Sid like not to fuck with him. And she backs up, and we're at this point. We're like, is she doing the right thing? Is she not?
Like when he takes off that mask, she didn't even think that it would be. She was like, the way she reacts is like, I didn't think it would be you in a million years because he takes it off, and she's like, Mickey, like what the fuck? Yeah, like wow. It's like that's somebody you went through, like, because how long were they at college before he started doing this?
Right.
Like this is someone that you trusted and that you potentially care about, and they're just slaughtering you and all of your friends.
And clearly in your like friend group, he's like penetrated your friend group. He's there every day with you,
Oh, not that word. Not that
I'm
word.
sorry. Does that trigger you, Rob? Like moist triggers people?
The way you said the PEN really triggered me. It was just like, oh no.
Speaking of which, what about that bullet into her boyfriend's body? That was crazy.
Oh my god, yeah, and he's in like the middle of a sentence, and he's just like, I've had enough.
Yep.
And what a brutal. It's almost like it opens out. It was so like I realize that's what a bullet does. Like it goes in and it spreads a little bit, but like the bullet wound is disgusting to look at. And she like puts her. It's such a sad death scene, and it's he's staring right into her eyes, and it's just
Nev Campbell's look in that scene, just like the look she gives him, like I'm so sorry, I should have trusted you. That look,
but like, as soon as she like he passes. And she looks up at Mickey. She's like, okay.
There's no time to cry over it because guess what's behind curtain number 1, ladies and gentlemen?
My favorite killer of the franchise, even though I love Mickey to death. Who is it?
Courtney Cox isn't a killer. What are you talking about?
No.
And it said, favorite killer of the franchise.
We got Jessie from Toy Story coming this way with... I'm just kidding.
Rob, please take lead here, because Billy's never going to get this one out.
Oh, I'm serious, because the way she does her monologue for this, I get, when somebody loves me, and then, like, scenes of Billy in the background, and you get all teary-eyed. Oh, she loved Billy. Oh.
Well, I think, so our second killer reveal is, they kind of play a troll on us a little bit. So... Mickey's like doing the whole like I gotta have a partner thing, like And Gail walks out from the back of the theater, and she has this reaction like, Gail, really? Like I kind of knew it, but then she's like she shakes her head, and then this other news lady that we've been seeing the entire time, who's played by Laurie Metcalf,
a nameless reporter,
which is
not so nameless after all.
Which is AKA Debbie Salt, which was the fake name that she was using to cover for herself, which is actually Billy's mother, Mrs. Loomis, Nancy.
And in my opinion, one of the most believable killers in the whole franchise. I see a mother doing this for her child any day. If she was that crazy, I see them doing it.
Well, her motive is solid, but here's my thing. Is she aware of what her son tried to do to Sydney and her friends? Because why would she try to seek revenge on somebody when your son literally tried to kill her and he literally killed her mother?
Right.
Does she just not believe it, or is she that insane that she thinks he did nothing wrong and he was in the right? You know what I'm saying?
This might be a hot take, but I would say apples don't fall far from the trees.
I was gonna say
And
something along those lines too, Billy.
The Dahmer thing that came out on Netflix, like the dad kind of admitted to having some of those fantasies and then like stuff like that. So I think that's where they were getting at.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll agree with you there. She probably has the most solid motive out of the entire franchise.
I think so. I think like hers is the most like one that you can be sympathetic with almost. Like the other killers, you're not really sympathetic with them, but like at an extent, she lost her baby, you know, and like for a mother, that's enough to make you snap right there.
Or
not
as
to
a
mention,
father, brother, and sister, maybe.
well, see, not to
future
mention Sydney, as she says in the Sid scene, Sid took her baby boy away, and then Sid's mom took her husband away. So it's like those women of that family took her whole life away. So, you know, it's like, F these biatches, you know? It's like, let them go. But, you know, yeah, it's one of those things where she would cray. She would cray, and we see where Billy gets his cray.
As that whole line, Sydney comes at her with that whole line, like, you're insane. And she goes, no, I'm very sane. My motive is just good, old-fashioned revenge.
Yes.
You know,
It
she's
is.
like, and yet my favorite line from her, and Laurie Metcalf is an amazing actress. I loved her on Roseanne, and this is why I love her in this movie.
Jackie.
The line where she goes, you know what makes me sick is when these people blame the parents. It's all the parents' fault. It always with them. It's just like the way she delivers it. Like, you know what makes me sick? She just and the way her eyes are so wide in that scene, you can tell how insane that she is.
Yes. I love every second.
Her outfit, the all white like petticoat she's got on, and then she takes it off and she's got the all white pantsuit. Like, you go.
Yes. Yes. Like she looked great, and like she's one of those women with that 110% pulls off that short haircut. Not that women don't pull off short hair. Women look great in short hair, but she looks so much better with short hair compared to long hair, in my opinion. Not judging her by her looks alone, but she looks killer in that hair.
So
she's absolutely terrifying.
Your guys' vibes are 110% somebody else's opinion. For me, I just felt like she was just a Karen with like a bad haircut. And she's just yelling about her kid and how special her kid is. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like the scene did not get real for me until what she did to Mickey. That's when it was like, oh,
Mickey, you're so fine.
Oh, Mickey's not gonna be a trial.
Can we mention the line he has right before he gets shot between the eyes, or wherever he gets shot? He just said about the trial. He's like, "This is gonna," and the way he says it and delivers it, and just head up to the sky. He's so into it, and I'm like,
for the trial, it's gonna rock.
And she's like, "Oh, Mickey, there's gonna be no trial," and like that shock, and then bang.
when he's sliding down the pillar, and that shot of the blood dripping into his face, it literally sets my eyes on fire every time I feel it. It's like, oh no.
I love it.
Monologues are great, and this is where things kind of get sticky and weird and so on and so forth. But my issues with these ending movies is they talk about themselves so long, especially like in the future sequels and all that. But right now, I feel like she pretty much got her thing across, and she can do what she needs to do. It's just she's taking her sweet ass time doing it from here on out.
Yeah.
So long
Absolutely.
that Cotton, for some odd reason, comes out of nowhere, and he gets himself involved with this scene.
He like you see he's at the college because Gale assumes that it's Cotton after Dewey's attacked, you know.
Yeah, but
so
Right.
he is
It's
there.
10 o'clock at
you
night,
know.
Cotton. Why are you
But-
at the freaking drama theater?
Because he's crazy and he wants to get Sydney for an interview. Okay, this is Cotton.
He's been stalking Sydney's butt for a while. He should have known
Exactly.
that she got in a cop car and presumably left.
True, true, true.
I mean, like, he was trying to prove his innocence to everybody and trying to prove, like, hey, I'm not the one behind that was.
By walking
all
around and going to different crime scenes, you're doing great, Cotton. Way to go.
And the blood all over him. Oh, I found Dewey. I tried to help. What do you mean you tried to help him? Where is he?
Right, exactly.
And then there's
Well,
that whole moment where she thinks that the killer is Cotton, and she, Debbie Salt is like right, sitting right there. I got your fucking story. The killer is Cotton Weary.
Yep.
this is where this whole thing gets messy, though, because you have Mickey that was really willing to go on trial, could have but she offed him. Now she's trying to get Cotton to pull the trigger, and
Right.
it just gets so messy here. And I'm like, you had it in the bag. You fumbled the bag the last second, my guy.
It's like, and I will say the dialogue there is a little cringe, especially with the line, like, when he's trying to, like, make that deal about going on Diane Sawyer with her. Like,
It's so cringe.
We couldn't have done this later. Like, we have.
What was
Right.
Cindy's response? Cindy's response was 90s, and I'm like, did she really respond like that?
Consider it done.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this movie. Don't get me
So
wrong.
do I.
But
So do I.
that
Like,
right there, it just like, no.
yeah. Well, it just showed, like, as I said, Cotton's a piece of crap. That's just who Cotton is, And
I
like,
love the actor who plays him, I think he does an amazing job, and he's
he
awesome.
plays perfectly.
He's awesome in Ray Donovan, but like,
I really
he's-
liked his opening scene in the next movie. That's where he shined.
Oh yeah,
you'll get
yeah.
there because I can't fucking stand it at all.
You don't?
You can't stand it?
I think that Scream 3's opening scene is the weakest of the franchise.
Oh, Rob, we're gonna go there when we do 3 because I love me some 3. We're gonna have some words, my dear.
I love Scream 3, but I just think it's a little weak.
No,
But
I
it's
get it.
second
I get it.
weakest, But I understand.
let's finish up with this film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty much
So it's-
finished. She says,
No. Yeah. It's
There's
Go
that
ahead.
whole intense scene where they have that scuffle, and Laurie Metcalf's face when she's coming at her with the knife, and she's like, "Ah!"
Oh yeah.
Terrifying. And then Sydney
Mhm.
locks herself in that back room, and she's like doing all the effects for the place, so she can't really hear what's going on. And Mrs. Loomis is trying to shoot her and all of that, and she like finally gives up because she like all of those like fake rocks fell on her and like knocked her out, and so she like
Mhm.
yeah,
she goes
that
back.
is a huge issue of mine, too. I'm glad you brought that up. What theatrical play has real boulders, like, going on there?
They're not real though. They're
But it's real
foam.
enough to, like,
That's what I-
knock her, like, ass down and out.
I mean, true, but
Think about it for a second. It's you have, even though they might be foam or fake, it's falling from a high place. So, and like even a penny falling from a certain height, if it gets enough velocity, it's gonna hit you hard.
You're right.
yeah.
So I want
Yeah.
my college
But
kids to be in a play in a dangerous area like this. This is great production of Macbeth. We're gonna kill off so many college kids with this. I love it.
And that's what I want to ask: is that the play that they're doing? Is Macbeth?
I'm not 100%.
I don't know. I know. Like I don't know. She mentions Troy and Cassandra.
Troy and her character is Helen, right?
No, her character is Cassandra.
Okay. So
Cassandra.
I
like-
think maybe a little fake thing that they're.
I wanted to look that up before we got on here, and I didn't have the chance.
It's a Greek play called
but-
Agamemnon.
No. You made me pronounce whatever it was. Go ahead and pronounce that, Billy. Pronounce that for me. I want to hear it. You made me pronounce whatever it was. Let's go.
Agamemnon.
You cheater! You didn't let me do that.
I have an iPhone. It took 2 seconds to do.
So do I. Mine didn't go that quick. I have nails.
Seriously,
Okay.
if anybody would have told me that play,
Knows my
hey, would you like
struggles
to
with
come
my
to my play,
nails.
Agamemnon? I'd be like, oh, bless you. What play is that? Like, so.
Oh my god. But yes, we have the boulder fall, and Mrs. Loomis is down and out, and then
Cotton gets his interview with the local news because it's suddenly morning. And
oh yeah, no, like this does happen. Like that is something that is kind of funny too. Like if it is morning, because it was night previously.
that was the longest ass nighttime there was.
Because if you really look, everybody has the same outfit the entire film.
Yeah.
It doesn't really change.
So my
doesn't.
thing was like when Dewey's getting wheeled out, and they're like, "Holy crap, Dewey, you're still alive!"
Oh my God,
I was just
I was
laying in
so
that pool
happy.
of blood for 16
I was
hours.
jumping for joy.
I'm like, yeah, he had to get stabbed 2 hours before the car crash, and then they did that whole thing because there's no way they're transporting that kid at 8:00 at night. It was probably around 6, and it's a fall time, so it's like a nice dark time 6, and then now it's 7 or 8:00 the next day, bright as day. It's like, I don't get time.
Depending on how far Sid got from the college, and depending, because you got to keep in mind the frat party happened with them hanging, and frat parties don't end very quickly. So I guess
The frat party was the night before, wasn't it?
No, it was the night of, because they hung him up there because they grab him.
That wasn't
and,
a party. He was just walking around, and they just jumped him.
Yeah,
Well,
that
that's
was
the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a hazing type of thing.
Yeah, he gets grabbed right after she goes in the car. So that party happens the night of that car, and then when she runs back is when she runs into him after the party. So I'm assuming from car to stage, there's a couple hours in between.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll give it.
Yeah, to make it bright as day the next day, it's still time's off.
Yeah. It's a little confusing, but I think Wes wanted you to have that it's over, and
yes,
here's the sun, and
it's a new day.
Well,
and
I think he
everything.
originally fought for not to have that, because as the camera was zooming out in the bell tower, there's another ghost face hiding, and the original ending was a ghost face was going to come around the corner as it hits the credits, but they do.
That would have been a.
They decided, no, let's do a happier ending. So that was in there. They just ended the movie 3 or 4 seconds faster than what it originally was.
Damn, because I would have liked that too.
That would have been
A
epic.
third killer
That
would have been
epic.
great, especially this early in the game. That would have made the rest of the movies feel so...
I mean, with the ending of the third, it would have been, with continuity, it would have made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like the ending song that they use. It's got a very it's got a very ethereal feel to it.
Yes, like a new morning feel almost, renewal. You know, yes, and I, as you said, Rob, it's really that the morning after, it's finally over, it's a new day. You know, we really do get that sense of Sydney walking out and being but isn't there a little jump scare right before the credits, if I remember correctly?
I think it's it's kind of like the scene in Scream 6,
Yes.
where he, I won't go too much into detail. We'll save it for the episode. But the "who gives a fuck about movies" thing, and it's kind of one of those, with the slashing thing, and it comes. I think it's just the face though, but it is. Love those, because the first time I ever saw the Scream movies, those are the moments that actually scared me.
Me too. It's the stupid stuff that gets me.
I know.
So, yeah, I think we pretty much completed the movie. And guess how long this podcast is so far?
3
And listen,
hours.
hey, look, we stayed on topic.
I know. 2 hours
We
and
did.
17
We did.
minutes. We're doing great. The,
Oh my god, no wonder I need a cigarette so damn bad.
the poll question. The poll question, I'm going to keep it simple because I kind of like the debate we had at the very beginning. The poll question for you, ladies and gentlemen, is which was the better opening in your opinion, Scream 1 or Scream 2?
That's easy for me.
I honestly,
You're
I kind of swayed my opinion because every time I'm at a movie theater, that's the most paranoid I get. And now I'm going to be like,
Makes sense.
I completely resonate with that, but like the opening scene with Drew Barrymore is so disturbing to me.
That's the thing. I think there might be an age thing there. People my age and under that like. So I knew Drew Barrymore from E.T. and 51st Dates and all that.
Right. Yeah.
Because 51st Dates came out in 2005. I've seen a lot of Drew Barrymore movies. It's just at the opening scene to this movie, I didn't get the trailer build up. I didn't get this build up. So I basically, going in, I know that the first chick, especially blonde, talking to hot guys, they're going to die more than likely. So I don't have the nostalgia for it.
Right. Can you handle that, Blondie?
I mean, what do you think, Rob? Out of 1 or 2, what would you say?
Oh, you guys are saying 1. You guys already did this debate at the very first 5
Okay,
minutes.
but we're allowed to say our piece, okay? You don't win automatically, Billy.
I'm not winning.
I gotta say the Scream 1 opening is scarier because it's the whole like girl at home alone trope. But the movie theater opening is disturbing too because you have all those people around you that weren't believing her that she was actually being attacked. But I will say the opening scene is my favorite out of the entire franchise of the first one, and it's the most disturbing to me, especially when she gets stabbed and she can't scream for her mother. Like I said it a few times in the other episode.
So I don't know what's scarier, not being able to scream so the mother could hear, or you're screaming as loud as you can and not a single soul believes you.
Right, exactly. Both of those things are absolutely terrifying, but
now you all got me conflicted. You both got different answers, good backups to your answers, and now I'm left last. Like, now I don't know what to say.
Another thing I would like to say is this.
No, don't make this hard on me, Billy.
Drew Barrymore died by a complete stranger, and she found out last second before she died who it was because she pulls off the mask.
Right.
Jada Pinkett Smith never got that. She just saw a guy wearing a leather jacket, and then he just starts stabbing her. If anything, she could believe that that's her boyfriend. That was a bad breakup. So she's dying believing that she dated the wrong dude or something like that.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Well, I don't think Drew Barrymore died by a complete stranger. It was Stu, wasn't it?
No,
I have a feeling it would have been Stu because he's the one that was dating her.
That's why I said when she took off the mask, that's when she found out.
And
it had to be Stu because I bet you Billy was doing the phone calls.
Right? Yeah. Because I still fully believe that Stu is the one who killed her out of revenge because she dumped him.
Definitely,
100%.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But Scream for me is the better opening for me, but the opening of 2 is still epic.
I'm gonna keep mine short and be that I agree with Rob. I'm sorry, Billy, but I do agree with Rob. You know, Scream being the third horror movie I ever watched, and Drew Barrymore. Like, I think this might have been my first occasion of watching Drew Barrymore. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe Never Been Kissed was, but it's just the way that it affected me with the first viewing, with that cut to her throat, with the cut to her chest. You know, with her hanging from the tree swing, like that was like one of the starts of my horror love. So it as much as I like Jada Pinkett Smith, and as much as Demon Knight was my first horror movie, and Jada Pinkett Smith is in that, when she was just Jada Pinkett at the time, I'm gonna go with 1, though I will say 2 is a great follow up to what we got in the original. Though,
Yep, that was a good rebuttal. Great stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you see Boogeyman or whatever horror movie this weekend, just think in your chair, at least I'm not in Scream 1. We're going to go ahead and go into the next portion of the pod, which is the Blind Reacts. This one, I believe...
I love this with Rob. I love this because I'm not the only one thrown under the bus.
I believe you guys will pick up the theme better than you did last time.
Okay.
Well, that wasn't fair last time because it was all your favorite movies.
For real, how are we supposed to guess that theme, Billy?
The reason why I think you guys will pick it up more is because now you're thinking outside of the box. So it could be Billy's favorite. It could be.
He's giving us the benefit of the doubt, Lilith.
Unfortunately,
he's saying he's giving us the benefit of the doubt. That doesn't mean he's actually going to do it.
Oh, no.
With Rob being our first guest, I'm going to ask him first, and then Lilith, you can follow up.
Please.
The first movie I'm listing is Paranormal Activity 1.
Oh, and this is the thing where we have the 5 slots, right?
The game's
Bye,
1
Rob.
through 5, and then he's like, nope, I'm not doing it. I don't like paranormal.
See ya.
It's a new phone. I don't have a pop socket yet to keep it steady.
You're good, Bill. You're good. It's 1 through 5. You don't know what's coming next. You can't switch your slots.
Okay, I know. I like the first Paranormal Activity. I think it's scary. I'm gonna put it at 5 though.
At 5, PA, got it. You, Lilith?
I know he's got something good.
I do too. And as much as I love paranormal and that movie, literally, I was 18 when that came out and I was living on my own for the first time. Every light on was on that house that night. I literally had my own cottage. Literally, I had every light on because it terrified me. So I have a feeling of what direction this is going to go in. So I'm going to hit that at 3.
Okay.
Okay.
What feeling do you get, Lilith? This is the first
No.
one.
No, I'm not allowing you to switch up movies midway on me, Billy.
No, I have them written down. Like,
Mm-hmm,
I would flash it to the camera, but like I write down everything first before anything. Second one, Hell House LLC.
Thank God I did not pick one.
Fantastic found footage film. Great kills, really scary.
You're not going to offend me, Rob, if you put it at 4. Don't worry.
No, I'm going to put it at 3, so haha.
Okay.
What about you, Liv?
Okay, you know me, that's 1. I've literally, I think I probably watched that 100 times.
You're going to regret that.
You guys want to
guess? I know I will.
Guess yet? Is it too early to guess?
I know what it is. It's found footage, isn't it?
It's not found footage. Rob?
It's not.
It's not found footage? Okay.
That's not the thing.
Is it paranormal films?
You're close. Number 3, Unfriended.
I love that movie. I'm gonna put that at. I'm gonna put that at number 2. But is it paranormal films that are like filmed through like a computer screen or video camera?
Nope.
No. Okay.
I'll give you paranormal.
Okay.
I think as we go on, we might see more. But I think the final.
Yeah. Let me. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that one. Oh, this is so hard for me. Let's do 4.
All right, I got it there. This fourth one is one of my personal favorites, The Frighteners.
The Frighteners?
Yeah.
The one with the number on the foreheads?
Yes, Michael J. Fox.
I gotta put that at 1.
It's a good one.
I really love that movie.
Fun fact, Rob, there's like a whole, another movie's worth of footage for that film that never got added in.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grew up on that movie. That was one of my dad's favorites. So I think which slots do I have open, Billy?
2 and 5.
You know me, Dory Brain. Then I'm gonna have to go 2. As much as I'm gonna regret this, I know I am. But Frighteners is one of those that I grew up with, and I hold it
I think you
near
guys
and
will
dear.
be pretty happy with your list because the last one's The Nun.
I'll take it. As much as I love the Nun or Valak as a character, it's not the best in the world to me. Though, don't get me wrong, I still want the portrait of the nun in my room because she's so freaking creepy. Though, and in the like, I love the Nun, but I would put that at 5. Yes.
5.
And Thaisa Farmiga does an amazing job in that film.
So are you happy with your list?
Yes,
Rob,
yes.
1, The Frighteners, 2, Unfriended, 3, Hell House, 4, The Nun, and then 5, PA.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Sounds good. I'm happy if you guys are happy. We're about
So
wrapping up.
Oh, you don't give me a second chance, but you give Rob a second chance? Fine,
Because
Billy.
as I'm talking to Rob, I get, I'm happy. So I hear you. We hear you. They all hear you. It's Lilith, ladies and gentlemen. It's her
When
birthday.
don't you hear me? I'm at 24 volume when there's a max of 10, 24 hours a day.
It'll be like 1 a.m. You're all the way at like 12 hours away, and I can still hear you. It's like crazy.
I mean, why do you think people comment shut up on my TikTok? They ain't gonna win, but they can tell me to shut up all they want.
All right, well, that was the list. We're coming at 2 hours and 30 minutes. I hope everybody had a good time with this.
Oh my god, of course. What was the theme of that?
Yeah, what was your official theme?
Because all of them were demon based.
Okay, the fact that you did a demon list and didn't add demons itself on the list, I'm slightly jaded with you, Billy.
Well, because if I did it hardcore, because they all pretend to be ghosts at first, but then they flip the script at the end. That's what I enjoy.
See, Billy tricks us because we thought it was paranormal, we thought it was found footage, but no, it's demon.
On the list, I did put there. Where is it? I put demon/ghost.
See,
Okay.
But Valak the Nun, it's so funny because it's a man, like, and demon, but it's possessing a woman's body. It's so creepy, man.
Like a sacred woman's body.
Yeah.
Like
It's
the
kind of
most
the
vile
opposite.
that they can do.
Oh wait, no, it's not the opposite. I was about to say Insidious is kind of the same thing. Because
Right.
Well, it's in the same world.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
Insidious
not.
and the Nun are in the same world.
No.
Yeah.
They're not.
No.
Yeah.
They're not. Insidious.
No, I'm
It's
sorry.
its own
I'm mixing
universe. Conjuring
Insidious
is-
with Conjuring. Conjuring and Nun are in the same world. Okay,
The woman in
sorry.
black in the
Sorry.
Insidious is.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
We've
My
been
bad.
up too long.
No.
This is officially the
I-
longest episode. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this in a quick manner. So,
Don't, because we got D-Rob Loves Horror 93, baby!
You take your time editing this episode.
I'm gonna, don't worry, guys, gals, non-binary pals. I'm chaining Billy to his desk. He's not leaving for a week. I will leave him snacks
seriously,
and food.
she
He will
sent me
be
a shit
okay.
bucket. I have an official Billy D shit bucket.
That's
at my
not my
desk now.
problem that you don't clean it on a consistent basis, Billy. If you would clean it on a consistent basis, it wouldn't be a problem.
And you make pencil holders, and it's like a little bucket, and it says Billy D's shit bucket. Because I would
pretty much. It's like a
would
noodle
ask-
strainer. It's crazy.
I can't. I'm dead.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rob, for joining us. This is such an honor for me.
And thank you,
I know I've said
everybody.
it 50 times, but it's so true. It's such an honor. Thank you
Oh.
for all your support, everybody. Thank you, Rob, for all your support from the beginning. Thank you to Billy for letting me go on this ride, and I will allow you to have your closing statements, and I will shut my trap.
Rob, what is your final statement before you get taken to prison?
Oh God. You know,
Says the guy.
Opening and prayer. I like it. I'm just kidding.
this is this is still like a whole fever dream for me to even do this with you guys. It's so much fun, and it's so much fun to talk unfiltered on here, so to speak. Like, without the restrictions of TikTok, it makes it so much easier to talk. It makes it so much easier to talk about a film on here, and so much more fluid too. And this is so much fun to do.
I'm glad you had fun.
Oh my God, always. You guys are the best. It's like we laugh, like I'm laughing so hard I'm crying, actually. But you can't because I'm so far away from the camera.
Well, I'm glad you guys had fun. I'm serious.
I'm so glad
this is amazing. I can't wait to have you on again.
It is. Oh my God. Scream 3. We're not sure when it's going to land yet, but Rob has said he will come back. Scream 3.
And also,
and I know
we have yet to pick out the next movie because we still have Cannibal Holocaust to record because Lilith forgot to press record again.
We all know who the editor is, Billy, and you know that I am just the pretty face of this podcast. Thank you.
It's midnight. It's midnight. I almost said you're the queef in command. Like, as if that's a legitimate statement. That's my defense. No, that's not. Like, why is that like the first thing that comes to my head?
I mean, command comes after queef, so I will take it. I mean, I will be the commander. So,
can you guys please do a Nightmare on Elm Street episode?
Which one?
The first one.
We might.
I mean, where is it? I got my Freddy shirt right. If y'all don't know, I film out of my closet because I don't have that much space. But hey, I got a Freddy shirt right here. Anytime you're ready to say yes, Billy.
Yeah,
I love how enthusiastic. You guys are. It's so great. It's such like a great positive energy to be around.
I try.
I never watched A Nightmare on Elm Street, so I'm gonna have to make that a goal. So.
I'm not even taking you seriously, Billy. Don't
mean?
Don't believe him, Rob. He is BSing you.
You know why I fell for it for a second? Because of where my camera is positioned, I can't see the nightmare phone that he has.
That's a nightmare phone.
On Rob was priceless.
I got that at a sex shop called Adam and Eve. I want my money back.
Yeah, he got it at Todd Couple Superstore.
Hey, Adam and Eve does advertisements on Dead by Daylight streamers. Hey, you never know. They could advertise this episode for us.
Fair enough. Well, thank you guys for watching. We have to get out of here. I love you all.
Yeah,
not because I want to, just because of Billy. I would spend all night with these guys if they would allow me, but
you would spend all night with any guy.